Ladies and gentlemen, the Adult Baby Show.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Adult Babies Podcast, episode 124. I am B.
I'm Chick.
And I'm Chris.
And we have a very special guest with us live tonight.
Yeah, we are live. We are no longer socially distancing.
We're not socially
our show.
distant. We have a guest, Mr. Tom DeCillis. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I was actually going to ask. I'm your first live one.
You're
so
the first live one.
First live audience,
Hell yeah.
live guest that we've had probably since the girls.
The first live show we've done
It's the
since
first live show since February.
Yeah.
Or March, maybe.
yeah.
Oh, we're
early
live
March.
right now too?
Well,
No, we're not
We're
live,
not
but-
live,
Oh, okay.
but we say live.
We're in
but
front
we just
of each
mean in
other.
person.
Live in person. Yes.
Live means in person.
Yes.
Yeah, we shut it down right
Away.
Me and Chick are real paranoid with stuff.
Yeah.
Especially. Chris, not so much. He was going out, traveling the world.
Chris was trying to make a documentary about COVID in the beginning.
Oh,
We
really?
got great footage.
That's
And
right.
he went in there the week one, and me and B were like,
Really?
I think we're going to start doing this remotely.
And that's when we signed up for Zoom.
Oh my God.
But yeah, we're back. It's kind of like you just said.
It's just weird.
It's
very
weird
different.
to be in front of each other again.
And it's because we've been doing it on Zoom. I'm used to looking at a computer screen and like hearing the sound back now, and now we're back to we have no idea how it's going to sound until we listen.
Yes.
Which isn't. It usually will probably sound better on this, right?
It
It should sound better.
on this, yeah.
We should sound better.
The cadence of talking is just way better because
Mhm.
you have to have like to talk over someone over a Zoom. Like if you want to input something quick,
Yes.
it's like wait, hold on, wait.
Yeah. It is. It's like a delay
You
too.
go ahead. You got
It's
it.
that little delay that screws you all up.
Yeah, because you start and then you hear somebody else's. It's a little different, but I'm glad to be in person doing
Me
it
too,
again.
man. I'm glad.
Yeah, this is cool.
I wanted to get you. So we tried to book you last week, but
Yeah.
Chick was golfing.
Golfing. Sorry.
You were golfing.
I
okay.
was the reason why that got canceled.
Yeah.
Okay.
'Cause
Oh,
I
so
put-
you were when you said you were stuck somewhere, you were stuck
Yeah.
golfing.
He was-
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't really stuck.
So maybe
He
you're
was
just
stuck
so you're
on
just
the
bad
11th
at golf.
hole.
Is that what you're
Yes,
telling me?
exactly. Yes, exactly. I am not good at golf.
'Cause I'm shooting a 36 right now. I ain't even fucking.
But like I pushed him back to 9, and then I got home a lot earlier, and I was like, "Hey, we still doing this?" And they were like,
Oh, it was-
"Dude,
oh.
everything changed."
It's
We were
late.
like,
I mean,
no.
we ended up recording a quick episode anyway, and it was fun. But
It was
hour
fun.
and a
A
half.
quick,
Quick
hour and a half. It was like the 20-minute goodbye last week.
yeah, but
But let's learn a little bit about our guest, Tom.
Tom DeCillis, comedian. I've known you for a little while now.
Yeah.
I've,
A little bit.
Yeah. So you're. I've seen you a couple times now since the quarantine.
Yes, we
did-
did our first open mic.
We tried to do an
Kind
open
of.
mic in this backyard, and it turned into just like us.
Four guys chilling,
four
drinking
guys
beers,
hanging
and
out,
talking
drinking
about
beers.
jokes.
Oh, so he was here that day that you invited us, and I know I wound up just saying, "No, I'm
Yeah.
not coming." Okay, yes.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
that was fun. But
Now let's
Yeah.
hear your side of that. How was it coming here and doing that with, or hanging out with them? Like,
I was happy to do it. I was like excited. I was actually I was the only one that actually used the microphone because I was
Oh,
like, I just want to
okay.
talk to a real microphone so badly.
That's right.
Because I'm not a recluse. Like most people are like, oh, this is fine. I've been doing good. I was all right for a bit, but then after a while, even my wife was like, I was like, can I go? And she's like, go, get out. And not in like a. She's not like it wasn't like I'm sick of you. It was I can clearly see you are mentally
you're struggling.
losing
You need
yourself
to get
right
out,
now.
yeah.
She's like you need to go see. I did the same thing. I did like I was like it's just gonna be like 3 of the guys hanging out in the backyard with the bonfire. She's like yes, go. Go.
so what was your quarantine like before that though? You were home, like you
So
weren't
I
working,
was fortunate
or
enough that my job gave us paid leave.
oh, they did.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
had
nice.
like oh man, couple months of just they're like we're gonna pay if you. It was pretty much like if you want to stay and work, you'll get paid more. Couple of extra.
Oh,
bucks.
so they stayed open.
Stayed open.
I didn't even
couple extra
realize that.
bucks
Okay.
To we'll pay you more, or you will get paid the average amount of hours you would work. Keep your health benefits, and you can stay at home and do all that. And
Oh, okay. That was good
As
then.
I mentioned before we started, because I'm live in the apartment
Yeah.
beneath my grandmother, and I was like, I'm just gonna do this.
Hey,
And,
why
it
not?
was
Yeah.
cool. It was.
That sounds like a great deal.
Now with the bands and everything lifting, are you back out of?
I've been back at work for a while
Okay,
now.
good.
Yeah, once kind of like it tapered off a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Then they're like, you can come back or you can stay on your leave unpaid and keep your health benefits.
That's when it's like okay.
But I was like, no, I'll come back now, and
Yeah.
and then it's.
well, a
so
lot of
it's
companies
been
are having
good.
trouble bringing people back. And I've heard that from a few places that.
I lost a few
Yeah,
people from
I might be benefiting off of somebody who didn't want to go back to a job. So.
By the way, can I talk about that
can say
call?
whatever
That
you
call
want.
you made to me, because it's hilarious. When you about the job.
Yeah, sure, shoot.
All right, this is why I love Chick. So I get a call. Chick's looking for a job. I get a call like on a Saturday. I'm at work, and he goes, "I think I'm ready."
I'm ready. I'm ready to work again.
And I'm like, "What? You're ready for what?" That job you were talking about, because I have an opening. I was like, "Listen, man, it's a good job."
Yeah, he mentioned it.
Right, it's a good job. It's fun. I love it. It's one of my favorite jobs that I've had. I work a lot, but I love it. So he goes, "This is what I love. I love the way you phrase things." He goes, "Yeah, I don't like the hours that you work. I see the way you are, but maybe I'm looking for less hours. Here's what you do. Here's what I'll do." He tells me. Get me in touch with the guy. I'll go over there. I'll discuss what I want. Like, he's already on his own terms.
You did. I did say that,
Begging
but
demands.
he
I don't get up
brings it.
before 8 p.m. 8 a.m. Like,
He brings it up so much
I
different.
don't mean I'll
though.
be here at 8. I mean I
No,
get up
could
at 8.
picture it going down just like that.
That's hilarious.
He
I'll talk to
said
him.
there's part-time hours, there's deli work, there's
There's definitely ways.
There's other
to
things in there, so I
ruin
said-
an interview, and that's one of the ways.
But this was my conversation with B, not the boss. I
Of
wouldn't go
course.
in there
Well,
the
the
same
other way
way.
you
Well,
wrote
put
it,
your
he
feet
shows
up on the
in
desk,
this.
just like, all right, here's the deal.
So here's the
hotshot.
deal: as I put it
Here's
up,
the thing.
I want to work this day, that day, in these hours.
I'll
Can
get
you
out
help
of
me
bed for
out?
nothing less than 25 an hour.
25 an hour. I want to come in, let's say around noon. Be out around 2:30. But you do have this air about you where you're like, let me talk to the guy. I'll let him know. Let me talk to your guy.
I'm guessing what you're really
I don't know
getting
where
at.
it comes from, but
I'm
I have.
ready.
Comes from it.
I
It's
have
your way of saying like I'm ready to take the interview. And I'm ready to see if they will give me an opportunity to interview. But you're just like, yeah, I'll talk to the guy.
Let me talk to them. Let me give them my terms.
It's a completely unwarranted confidence that I
It's
have
like
about
they're
myself.
signing you like to a
Yeah.
contract or something like that. Like you're this sought after commodity.
Desperately desired, yeah.
hot guy on the market right now for employment.
Yeah, you're like Tom Brady. Out
It's a
there in the
meat
job.
company, right?
Yeah.
It's like
And,
And
yeah,
I don't
so
know.
I'm
Boar's
excited.
Head's been headhunting me for a while now. I don't know.
I see them boys head trucks.
Go to the
coming
big
around.
leagues.
It's so great because but I'm looking forward to it.
Looking forward to what? Because nothing happened
You
yet.
haven't
I just
filled out the application.
There's an
Well,
application.
Yeah, the
he gave
application's
me
right
the
there.
application. I'm going to fill it out tonight, and I'm going to hopefully talk to this gentleman tomorrow.
Yeah, and you'll probably talk to you talk to like an HR girl, and they know. I already mentioned you.
What did you say about me?
You know what I was
is
like,
already
listen,
Because I
Talk
have
to
no
a woman.
faith in
Don't
B
listen
putting
to
in a
the
good
podcast.
word.
That's probably what
Yeah.
he said.
I just feel like B is like, I'm giving you guys this application. I don't want you to hire him.
that's not what I
No,
said.
But
I
just
could see, like,
please-
I'm giving you this. Don't Google him though.
Yeah,
Please stay away from all social media. With
I
him.
was like, listen, I'm doing my due diligence here by giving you I know you need somebody. And I did say that he does the podcast with me, and my boss was like, "Oh man, I don't know if I want 2/3 of the adult babies working with me." But I think. Listen, I know whatever options you have on the table. If this works out, it'd be fun. I think you.
I really am excited, and I hope it does work out.
I do too.
I'm confident that it will.
Oh, the
I
confidence.
don't know about that.
I am in the best part of my life, and my year just keeps getting better.
Oh my god.
And I don't know. It's just things are working out. I'm a happy kid right now.
Again, every 20 episodes, things are working out
It's
great.
cyclical.
It really is.
Cyclical. No, this is different.
Tom,
It goes up, and then the
Oh my
depression
God.
episode
Yeah.
comes
Yeah.
in.
I am as bipolar as it comes.
Exactly.
When my
can
highs
relate
are
to
highs,
that.
my lows are
Those
lows.
lows, you can't even get him to sit down for the show. He's like, what?
Yeah, exactly. Tom, you can judge like the adult babies almost like by seasons, where it's like, all right, chick is good, he's not so good, he's not so good. He's good. Now he's not so good. That's basically how it works. It's incredible, but we're happy that you're good now.
Yeah.
But
The only thing
I
I was
hate-
honestly judging
the
right
streak
now
alive.
Yeah.
I was
is
just
the
gonna
fact
say, I
that we
just-
have 3 bald dudes and 1 guy with hair. And
Oh,
I'm
I
not used
know.
to that.
I know.
It's just I feel like you guys are waiting for the ball to drop.
What?
You guys with me.
What for you to?
I'm trying
To implode.
I'm trying
We don't want you to
hold it up.
implode.
I
man.
know you guys don't want me to, but I feel like you just think it's inevitable.
We root for you, but you.
Would you say we've been doing this for 2 years, the three of us?
Yes.
Right.
Just short of 2 years.
Just short of 2 years. There have been like 4 cycles of this, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't deny it,
You are who you
but
are.
I
you?
haven't been this.
But this does seem like a good up.
Yes.
It does.
I haven't had an up like this in a while.
Right.
In like a
been
long
trending.
time.
It's trending
It's
up.
trending up.
He's like a stock market, though.
Like,
One
yeah, but it can
coronavirus.
crash.
Exactly,
It can
you
crash
never
hard.
I'm like the housing
Oh.
bubble right now.
Yeah.
Oh, can it
Oh
crash?
God. I tried watching actually. So my wife is actually in. She works like with 401k, so she's all financially savvy.
Uh-oh.
And she got me to watch that movie, The Big Short. Have you seen it?
Oh.
I have
That
not.
Okay.
movie is absolutely amazing.
Okay, but here's the
Did
worst
you ever
part
read the
about
book
it.
by
is
any chance, or
I didn't
no?
read the book.
Okay.
She tried reading the book with her book club, and her friends were like, "This is really confusing." And
Did she enjoy the book?
She enjoyed.
My brother loved
She's
the book.
smart about that stuff.
Yeah,
and,
that's why. Okay.
We sit down and watch this movie, and then it's confusing. And then what they do is they cut away to like a celebrity explaining
And
it.
they dumb it down for you.
They dumb it down. After they dumb it
That's
down,
right, yes.
after they dumb it down, I pause.
After the
I'm like,
dumb down.
and I was like,
Yeah.
borderline in tears. I was like, I still don't get it.
Dude, that's
so dumb.
I think that I mean, for someone who's not like a financial guru, I don't.
Oh, you're definitely not a
Yeah.
financial guru.
I was like,
I
okay,
understood
so
the
You've
premise
never
of
been
what they did.
accused of that.
There's the they
Ever.
do this Jenga example, and I think I was like, okay, so this is the housing
Jenga.
thing.
They
in there.
basically take
And then it
people
turns
with
out
bad
you're
credit.
wrong, and you're like, I wasn't even good at Jenga.
I was like, I don't know.
They basically take people with bad credit. They lump them in one fund, and they bet against it. Is what the people who wanted.
Oh
the short
yeah,
were.
so like
Yeah.
that part took me quite a bit, but I was just trying to understand why because of these I guess variable interest rates, where all of a sudden they could just be like, hey, now your interest rate
now
is
your
all
interest
this
rate's
way.
too high. You
And that's
can't
how they were
afford it.
able to sell it to people with no credit. Now
Yes.
I understand it now, but
Oh,
while
okay.
watching the movie, like. We had to pause way too many times after they did the dumbing down.
Dude, that
she's
is
like,
me.
but they just. It was I forgot the
probably
woman.
so
there was
frustrating
there was
for
a
her.
woman. Well, who's the actress? It was like a gorgeous actress in a bathtub, and she's like, "How did you not listen to her and focus?" I was like, "I tried. I just don't get it." It's like
That
I'm
is
so
People
bad.
who were in it take it for granted,
Yeah.
like how well they know it. It's not.
what?
It's
You all
just-
right? Oh,
Oh,
he's imploding
I forgot
again.
He's
about
going
this.
for the high
We
highs.
never see this.
No, we haven't seen him choked to
So,
death.
yeah, it really. I don't know. I'm really bad with that stuff. Like.
It was a great
Numbers
movie.
and
Though.
percentages.
Did you like the movie though? Even not
It was good.
understanding it.
It was good because I remember I was like, I'm 29, so like when it happened, I was in like what is
You
it,
don't care about
2008?
it. Yeah,
I
I was
was
young.
Like, oh, what happened? Oh, the economy's bad. That's all I knew. The economy was bad.
When
I
that
don't fucking
happened,
know.
half
Something
of my
happened.
friends, we were all on unemployment and enjoying it at that
I
point.
remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I didn't really. So it was good to know. It was
that
good to
an
like
up?
understand what happened and how like fucked up it was. And it is good to.
I gotta
you
watch
know.
that movie again.
Yeah, I should see
I
that.
It's
remember
got a
when it
great
came-
cast.
No,
it was
it was
it was
fantastic.
Oh, yeah,
done
the cast is
extremely
fucking
well.
awesome.
You know what was good too, along those same lines? Too Big to Fail. Did you guys see that?
I love Too Big to Fail.
Didn't
I don't
see-
think
what was
I
that
saw
about?
that
It's
one.
Too Big to Fail is about all the banks.
It's
When
about the banks, but it's like it's actors. It's not.
Yeah,
Right.
it was a movie
Documentary,
about
yeah.
the banks when they went up and how the government basically bailed them out. I mean,
okay,
yeah,
yeah,
it was all. It got into all the details of that.
So yeah, I
good.
see. Like, it's so crazy when you find out about all this shit.
That
like,
stuff was
happens.
more confusing to me about how they went up and all that to me than the actual stock part of it of like what they did. Like that to me, I was able to understand, but why all the banks that I don't know that confused
No one
me.
You
got
think
in
they're gonna
trouble.
make a movie now?
No.
Like,
They
like
got
say like
benefited.
12, let's say like 10 years from now, you think they're gonna make a movie about this?
Yes,
100%.
I
Because,
think
like,
there'll be a
kids
movie about
now,
this
think
within a
of these
couple
kids
years.
that don't know what the hell's going on. They're just like,
the
I don't know.
second Hollywood
They're gonna
opens
be,
up.
yeah, they're gonna grow up
Yeah.
and they're like,
Yeah.
do you remember that? And they're like, I don't know. My mom made me wear a mask for a
Yeah,
little
right.
bit, and then I couldn't go to school. I had to do school from home, and I didn't really know why.
Look how
And so-
quick 9/11 had movies,
You're right.
and that
Yeah,
was
that's
something
true.
that was like everyone was like, "Oh, when are you going to do it?" They were literally what a
Who's
few
that?
years.
United 93 was like
United
2000.
That one's-
93.
That's, like those ones are, I feel like, a little harder to. For some reason, I don't know why. Because I feel like because it happened so quickly, it was like you didn't see this elongated
It's a-
thing,
it's a
and like
single
you
event.
you see it, and you're like, okay, there was an attack, a lot of people died, it was very very sad, very tragic. But then when you hear things unless you're into conspiracy theories, I guess, for 9/11. But like,
We don't talk about 9/11 conspiracies on this show. I don't believe them. I won't.
Oh,
I
you
won't
don't?
even let them.
I
come
wasn't
on
even
here.
gonna go.
No,
into
no, I'm
them,
not
to
saying
be honest.
you are.
I don't.
I thought you were a little bit.
I'm a conspiracy guy with certain things. I don't mean to cut you off.
No,
but the
it's fine.
9/11 one I think is so far fetched that it makes me
Yeah, I
sick.
don't.
I think they
honestly-
ran what. I think when it happened, Bush and the government
They ran with
used it and ran with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
They didn't do it.
Oh yeah, because that's what they do. That's
Yes.
what everyone does. I used to work in sales, and it was pretty much like I did radio sales for a while, and they were like, "We're gonna have a snowstorm. How do we capitalize? Like, what do we
Yeah,
do from
and
this?
exactly.
Oh, contact
They-
snow removal companies.
they pump
contact
through
these
a
people.
lot
People need to
of-
know about this. Like,
yeah.
this is you utilize that, and it
And you
is-
get things
in
that you-
hindsight, it seems pretty screwed up.
It
but
is
that's just
fucked
like
up.
what you have to do.
Yeah.
Dude, they got us into a war that was unnecessary. We should have been in Afghanistan, and that was it.
Right.
They got us into a war with Iraq because of it, with the whole WMDs, and they pushed through a ton of legislature that would have never gotten passed had that haven't if that didn't happen. That's all I think is he's guilty of.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and maybe how he handled it. I don't.
Right.
I think the conspiracy to actually do it would have been way too big
Caveat
and
on that,
involved.
though. Have you seen the Looming Tower on Hulu?
That is an actually amazing show.
I've
It's
never
an
seen
amazing
that.
show,
And that's
it's
a
not
great book.
conspiracy.
That's
It's
true.
Haven't-
What's the
actually
Looming
what
Tower?
happened.
Basically, the
So-
FBI.
FBI and the CIA were both onto that there was going to be an attack
Yes.
on the World Trade Center,
Okay.
and that they were going to use like some sort of commercial flight or something to do it.
Well, they
But
didn't.
well, the CIA
Kind of
had
yeah.
it, but they weren't communicating
Not
with
at
each
all.
other. They hated each other or something, so they weren't able to like figure it out together.
Oh,
And
okay.
then after it happened, the CIA like did some sketchy like.
The CIA was really more sketchy than the
Yeah.
FBI. But if you watch,
Because they realized that they could have prevented it.
They
And
could-
they
they
fucked
could
up.
have maybe not even
Well,
prevented it, but
they
they
could've warned you
They
to
could have maybe
something.
there
Yeah.
definitely could have been a little more not
You
like
can't say that they could have prevented it, but they
Could've been like
they
there's
would have had
that-
a better chance of
There
preventing it.
Yes.
might be an attack using commercial airlines, and then maybe security would.
Yeah,
have
you
stepped
might-
up
you-
or
you
whatever,
could have
something
maybe
like that.
Something
help.
very small. Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
you could have
Alright.
done
Yeah.
something, but the FBI and the two heads of each of those
hated each other.
hated each other.
Right.
So it was more, you spite your what is it? They spite
That's
don't
a
spite
great
your
show
nose,
on
spite your
Hulu, though.
face,
The
or whatever it
Looming
is.
Tower.
Don't chop your nose off to spite your face. That's basically what they did.
Right.
But where I was going with that is that like there's so many like the financial crisis, all those ones. There's all these things that lead up to it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
It doesn't
like,
just
I hate to
happen.
say this, but I just watched, and in this climate, do not recommend. I watched the Epstein documentary.
It was.
Yeah.
I watched
Oh,
it.
Filthy Rich.
Oh
Dude, that
my
was-
god!
Now, why don't you recommend it? See, I think people should know how bad it and how big it is.
People should. I said in this climate because
Okay, fair enough.
I'm already like spiraling with
Oh,
all
yeah.
the shit going
Yes,
on,
I
and
hear
I
you.
watched it, and then like literally I was sitting there, I was
yeah.
very very depressed for like 2
We
days.
discussed
It was
it
rough
last
to
week,
watch.
and Chris
Oh, did you?
watched
I
it.
had no idea the depth.
Yeah.
of
See, that's when you're like,
how-
I just knew I'm like, oh, some piece of
it's
shit
like a
killed
whole-
himself,
Yep,
and then
that's
you
what I
watch
thought.
that, and you're like, oh my
It's
god.
a whole system.
I told everyone, I'm like, I'm glad I'm married now because after watching that, I don't think I could have hit on a woman under
Yeah.
the age of 30. Like it was just so deep.
Oh.
Dude, it's just there's the powerful people in this country. There's such a disconnect from them and us that
Yeah.
like
Yeah, it
this
was-
shit goes on a lot, and it's probably more and bigger than we even know.
Yeah,
it's
probably
probably
so
Like
prevalent.
no one sees that they got caught and stops. Like, oh, I don't want
Yeah,
it. They
yeah.
just try and hide it better, or you know what I mean. Like the only thing that will get brought to your attention is if somebody finds it out. The rest of the stuff stays hidden until there's a whistleblower of some sort.
I was like super like, yeah, he sounds like he definitely didn't kill himself, but then now I'm like maybe 70-30. I'm like,
Yeah.
'Cause
I
if you
still
think
think
of-
he didn't. I think it's
Still
too.
I think he didn't, but if he did, I'd be like, it definitely would make sense where he's like, you're not gonna get me.
It makes
He's like,
sense either
you're
way.
not gonna put me
Yeah,
away
it
for
makes sense
anything,
either way.
It makes
and I
sense
will
that he
not, and you
would.
will not get a confession out of me.
And-
And he
and make-
took it into his
yeah.
own hands. But like they said, it seems like he had a lot of shit on a lot
Well,
of
that
people.
and
they're
to
like,
me that's
nah.
why
We're not
it
letting
seems
that.
like
Yeah, they're like, no way.
it's just so possible it could happen either way. Like
That's right.
you'd want to
I'm
kill yourself
so-
and not let the shit come out
Yeah.
and save yourself.
It does happen.
Or
It happens
somebody
with,
kills you
you
because
know.
they don't want it to.
Yeah.
Like it's the
I'm
same
very
reasoning.
interested to see what happens with
Maxwell,
Ghislaine
Justine,
Yeah,
Justine
yeah.
Maxwell.
Who they just caught.
Yes.
Sure,
oh,
he
are they
got-
going
She
after
just
her?
got arrested.
No, they
No, they
caught
got
her.
arrested last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, she
I
got
mean,
arrested.
this could be
She's in
great
the same
because
jail as
she
him.
could.
Was she? I didn't know that.
She is right now.
And she also
Oh,
got
come
removed
on.
for COVID, right?
Yeah.
What happened? She had
She
COVID?
tested positive
Yeah.
for COVID.
It was like the same.
Okay, all right.
It's like the same thing that happened to Epstein.
I don't know the
How-
what happened. Did he
They're
get?
doing everything they can.
Yeah.
Shut
Should
her
have brought my
down.
tinfoil
Shut her
hat.
down.
Shit.
Yeah, right.
But that's my thing is the powerful don't even care anymore. They'll do it in front of your face and just think that they could lie about it, and people just like,
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot.
Look at what they're doing with aliens. Is anyone paying attention to the fact
Well, that's what I'm
that
saying,
basically,
like-
Not.
there's UFOs?
Yeah. They're slowly
and
leaking
they're
it
not-
on us.
and they're
But
they're
like
just
people have known
saying
it for how long? And it's
But
just
now
like,
they're saying it, and nobody cares.
oh yeah.
They're like, yeah, but
Right, but the virus. But no, look, there's UFOs, and the
Because
government
people
is
like
saying it.
people like a conspiracy. They like to be like,
they don't want it to be known.
Yeah, because it takes away from the fun from debating and arguing
Now
a
that we
point.
know.
it's the same idea of like if marijuana was legal here and you be like, all right.
Well, they
now-
always say like in the places where it's legal, there's usually less abuse.
Yeah.
Because it's not cool to do it anymore.
I don't know if that's the same way.
No, but it is though.
I used to drink in the woods, and it was a blast.
It
And
was-
then I turned
yeah.
21. I was like,
Yeah, because there's something to be said about the excitement of doing something
yeah,
you
when the
shouldn't.
cops show up, and then
Right.
you
Yeah.
just fucking hightail it through trees. And you
Are
get
you a
away.
Long Island guy?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Born and raised.
Now, do you do most of your comedy before this in New York, or I mean, in the
I,
city or in the island?
I started out on the island. I
Okay.
didn't really go too hard for like the first year and a half, 2 years probably, because I've been October will be like 5 years. I've been doing this, and it wasn't until a couple of years back I started going into the city more. So I do Long Island shows, and then now I started doing more city shows, and I was starting to do some road gigs, and like things
Yes,
were going
that's right.
doing
See,
well.
I respect the
and
road
then,
gig guys.
You were doing like
Now, what happened? I
got
Ohio
back-
or something, right?
So they're not clubs. They were like a really nice guy. I guess I'll shout out to Chris Kettler and Funny
Yeah.
Noises Productions. Just
Nice.
a guy out in Ohio. Produces some. There's like some of them are bars, some of them are actual like venues, and yeah, he was a really really great guy. And he's not, unfortunately. If I go back, I can't do it, but he would let us stay in his house and stuff too.
right.
How'd
How'd you get in touch with that guy? It was just like
Just through
B's
people,
trying to
man.
take
Just
notes
through
because B
people.
doesn't network like he should.
Dude, I
I do road stuff
when shit gets cool, I'll hook you up with him because like
All right.
Mahoney met him through people. You know, Adam Gable
I know Mahoney
knows
went
him.
out. Yeah.
But yeah, I got back literally as we were. So it was me and 3 other comics in Ohio, right as
Matt
COVID.
Avalaro,
Matt Arvalo,
he was
Jack
on the
Adam,
podcast.
and Tim Thompson.
and Tim Thompson.
Yeah,
Aravalo's the young guy, right?
Yeah, the
he's
young
a
guy.
funny kid.
He's
got a bright
yo,
future if he sticks
tripping
with it.
up to Ohio. First of all, he was pretty much like he's like been in New York, and then he's gone to, I think he's Colombian, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's been to Colombia.
Yeah.
He has never like driven through the country, and it was hilarious because he was just sitting there like ripping his
Yeah.
pen, and then he's just like he would pass out, and then he'd wake up and just be like, "Oh my God, horses! What? Oh my God, look at this!
man.
Look at all." He was like a puppy. He was like,
He's great.
"Look at-" and then like we get
He
to
is like
we
a
get to
puppy.
Chris's house, and we just hear him, "Yo, is that a tire swing?" Like he was super bumped. Like he was like a
He's
like he was
great.
running
He's
around.
hysterical, and
Yeah,
he
he
has
was
a bright
fucking-
future.
He
that
was
guy.
on our Christmas episode when we did karaoke,
karaoke.
Christmas
Yes,
Yes,
karaoke.
we
Great.
did the Christmas
Oh,
karaoke,
that's
and he was
Yeah,
the
it was
hilarious.
a lot
judge.
of fun.
But yeah,
Um,
he's definitely
Yeah,
he's
so
got,
we were
that
up
kid is a funny
there,
dude.
and as we were up there, New York was like popping off with COVID.
Right, this is
and,
right before.
And we were right outside Cleveland. Cleveland was also popping off. Like
Cleveland?
Yeah, Cleveland was
Yeah,
spiking
Cleveland got
hard.
hit
Like
bad.
while we were there, we're watching the news, and it was like here and there. So we finished the shows, and then as we're on our way back, it was like New York state of emergency or whatever. And then I was like, we can't even go back to Ohio because it's just as bad there. So like we get back. I think I worked 1 week, and then and then
Dude,
shelter
that's
in place.
right.
Yeah,
I remember talking to you right before, and
Yeah.
it was like that. Right
it was
before
that, and then
it was a week before this whole thing went down.
Do you like doing
like
the shows in
2
different
weeks.
states?
I thought it was awesome. I really
Because they're like
liked it.
different crowds. I
It's
feel like
very, it's very interesting. It's really cool. It depends on where you go, you know.
It's like
And
anything, you kinda
it's
have to read
nice
it.
because like some of my material definitely doesn't translate to city people. Like if it's a reference to driving, just in general, it could be not even a reference to like I reference sometimes the like the missing persons reports. On the
Yeah,
highways and stuff.
okay,
Like,
yeah,
they
yeah,
don't
yeah.
get that.
They never see that.
But
Yeah.
when I got there, I just wanted to make sure, like in Ohio, I was like, "You guys have these, right?" And then he's like, "Oh yeah, definitely." And they do. So it's
Yeah.
nice because like someplace like that, Long Island comedy will translate better than New York City comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And I try and be a little more general.
I was
don't
just
wanna
going to
be
say, do you
specific.
think it helps you fine-tune writing jokes to a more global audience, so to
Yeah,
speak?
I like to make
as
it
opposed to
more-
making it
Yeah.
only people in Long Island are going to find me funny.
I like to do that. The reason why I liked when I eventually started going to the city was that I could play the middle ground of out here is obviously less more conservative or whatever, and then there's more liberal. So I like being able to find the city people really don't like this, but the Long Island people laugh a lot. So if I can get the city people to start to laugh at this, and you can find that middle ground.
Little happy medium.
Yeah, as opposed to, and vice versa. There's some stuff that city people love,
And,
but
yeah. Well,
Long
I
Island
was just
people
gonna
don't.
say.
You got to find
And
the,
Long Island is very much one of those. If you could do well here, you could sort of branch that out.
but the rest of the country
rest
is
of the
pretty
country.
good. Yeah.
It's Long
Really?
Island is, yeah.
I
Long
worry
Island's
about
like a
some
big.
city comics because I'm like, yo,
But
you can't take
city-
your act anywhere.
Yeah.
Like,
Well-
if every joke is like, I was on the
Subway.
subway, I was this, I was
Yeah.
that,
I think that.
it just,
It
you're
doesn't
not
translate.
going to, you're
Yeah.
going to bomb. You're gonna
Well, I think
bomb
that's why
hard.
there's something to be said about traveling
no
to someone
subway, yeah.
because you'll learn that my material needs to
I
be
don't know. It's more fun.
fine-tuned a little.
It's more fun to try and figure out what works for. You're never gonna make everyone love the same joke, but
No.
what works for most people.
And
Yeah.
that's what I was going to say, that most line where it's like, no matter where I am, this joke will hit.
Yeah,
And you
exactly.
start to develop jokes like that where, and I guess, but I always tell B that, I'm not saying he doesn't. Obviously, I don't know everything you do, and he does travel some, but I always got on his case because I said he didn't travel too much and
no,
do shows.
I mean, I've done. I did.
I know, I was-
Ireland. I did Portland. I wherever I go, I had.
But
3
you don't
LA
look
tri-
like,
ones.
I feel like you should travel sometimes.
It's
I don't,
just-
maybe because I want to come with him.
Here's the thing though. Like,
Yeah, but
it's hard.
Listen, I know.
Because if it wasn't for people like Chris, who's like independent producers, unless you have a somewhat name for yourself
You don't-
or a
you're not
deep
gonna get
recommendation,
booked.
you're not getting booked at a club out of state.
When
it's very hard, very very hard.
I had an LA trip booked.
Yeah.
The week of this pandemic,
Yes.
when
Oh, that's right. He almost went, too.
like when Tom, the Sunday or the Monday after Tom Hanks got it, and the NBA shut down, I was going to LA and then Vegas.
Yeah.
And for like 2 months, I was reaching out to bookers, and I
Yeah.
got booked on 3 shows, sending videos. But like, it's not like you can just go out and be like, "Hey, I'm
I'm
Brendan Ryan."
Dave, who the fuck are
Who
you?
am I?
Tell
Ever
them
heard of
Adult
the
Baby
Adult
Show,
Babies
bro.
podcast?
You know the adult baby. There's like a few people on Long Island that listen to this, but it's hard. You
Hey,
really gotta,
We're getting global.
Oh, we're global. You're right. We have
We have
guys.
listeners across the world.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's
Nice.
crazy.
There's one guy in,
We have
in Korea.
listener across the world.
No, but we get other listens. I can bring up the stats to
All right,
prove
all right.
it.
I
Numbers
I played
don't
before
lie.
I did comedy. I actually played music, and we put our band our album on iTunes and all that stuff. Most of our listenership was in Australia because they
Isn't
give
that
you
weird?
the demographic.
But can I tell you why, though? Other countries, was it on SoundCloud?
It was it was on iTunes or
Oh,
whatever.
okay.
We did this one where it blasted out on everything, but they give you the analytics for it.
You got
And
iTunes analytics?
It was
We might
a
have to
long
talk
time
about
ago,
these
man.
things
No,
after
it
this
was
to
don't
show.
even.
Oh,
I
all
was
right.
Different-
I was
different thing.
19. Dude.
Wait,
I
this
was
is a band.
fucking-
You were in a band?
Yeah, I
Was it
played
like
music
Alexis
for a long
on
time.
Fire type
No,
of music?
no, not at all.
I know.
You know Alexis on Fire? I love Alexis on Fire. No, I love
People
hardcore
who know
music.
Alexis on Fire are in it's like their
So
favorite
funny,
band, or you don't
definitely.
listen to them.
Oh, I love him. Did you see him recently?
No, I'm not one who loves them. I do listen. I do
Dude, they
I'm
they
not
played not to get off track, but they played Terminal 5 a few months before
right before COVID.
Yeah.
Everything's right
No,
before.
a few.
or-
I'd say a few months,
Yeah.
and it was their first show, and they broke up in
Yeah, they just got
2009 or
Oh, they
something.
broke up?
Oh, wow.
They broke
friend
up in
of mine was a
2009. I was
diehard
supposed to
fan.
see them at Warped Tour.
Yeah.
As we're walking into Warped Tour, it was noon, and they're like, "Yeah, Alexis on Fire's on right now." And when we got there, we missed them, and then they broke up right after that, and so it was really pumped.
Oh,
But
so what kind of music did you play?
we were it was kind of like a reggae rock almost.
Oh,
thing.
okay,
Like
okay. Yeah,
think of
yeah.
Sublime, but a little harder.
Yeah. Okay.
But
I
yeah,
feel-
so all most of our listeners were in Australia, so it was pretty
That's
funny.
so weird how
yeah.
that happened.
Because the only reason why I was going to say is because SoundCloud I know is an app that is widely used.
Yeah.
Certain apps are country based, and there's certain apps that are used on a broader scale.
The only
Right.
thing I heard that's negative about SoundCloud is that for shows like this, they don't give you the amount of listeners.
No.
Apparently,
They don't put
which
you up
makes
this-
it impossible to get sponsors, etc.
It's hard
and
to
stuff like
find you
that.
on
Yes.
SoundCloud. It's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
very good algorithm wise to pop
Yeah.
up on a search.
Yeah, so it's definitely beneficial.
That's
but
the one thing that I like about iTunes. But most of them, like YouTube and iTunes and all the other sites you use, have heavily based on comments and likes. So
Right.
if you once you're getting likes and comments, your video stays up. I don't know what SoundCloud does at all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not
we use
good with
SoundCloud
that.
as just like the host. Really,
It
I would say
really is
most
just-
people don't listen to it on SoundCloud.
No.
I don't know anyone who
I
listens.
And that's
always
what
listen on
that's the
YouTube.
numbers
Why
that we
not?
see. So and that's why I always say we
Well,
have
no,
more listeners than we think
but
because
SoundCloud collects from every.
From all of the stuff.
Yeah, so it's every time it's played.
so those SoundCloud listens are I don't know. Well, that's
Well,
nothing.
we'll
to,
figure that out,
we'll
but-
figure that out.
That's what I thought
the
it
way
was. I thought it was
it's cross-platform.
But that's cool though that you
Yeah.
getting those kind of like spread. That's good, man.
I mean, they're
Yeah,
few and
yeah,
far
yeah.
between, and they're like whatever. But it's weird. I always think it's crazy because I'm like, how does somebody?
Dude, you
from-
never know when you're gonna stumble upon something that's like really good. You know,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
actually over quarantine, I always thought it'd be really fun to play Dungeons and Dragons, and I never could because I was like, I'm not gonna have time for this shit.
Yeah.
So quarantine hits, and I was like, I'm buying a Zoom account, and my buddies and I was like, who are experienced, and my one other friend who had never played. I was like,
I wish I was
I
your
was
other
like,
friend.
yo, hook me up.
I'm not even joking.
Yo, if you have the problem is like it does take a chunk of time. Like Monday
Yeah.
nights, we'll go from like 6 to like midnight. You know, like 6 to midnight.
Dude,
we'll like play.
I met
So
somebody
fucking fun.
at a job 2 jobs ago
Yeah.
when I was at the lighting place.
It's been a lot of jobs.
A couple
Yeah.
jobs ago, I met this dude Mike, and I actually haven't talked to him in a while. Mike, if you still listen by any chance, what's up? He was going to start doing Dungeons and Dragons, right? And we
Yeah.
were talking because he did it with his friends and his wife or a couple other people. And growing up, I never did it. I was that like more the sports guy and make fun of people Dungeons
was
and
an
Dragons.
athlete.
Dude, it's like however like
Can I
Whatever
tell
whatever
you,
you
as
think-
I get older, I want to do it. I
Yo,
want to play a
do it.
legit game.
do it.
But
Do it,
none
do
of
it,
my
do it.
friends would do it.
It's
so I gotta
literally
find
like-
Well, you
somebody.
made fun of all the people.
The
who
only
did
thing
that.
you
Yes,
really
I did. No one will
The only
take
thing
me
I would
now.
recommend is like just find someone who can run a game, a DM, because
That's
it's
what
like
this guy Mike was. He was the head,
it is
the hot
like
guy.
when you play
He's
for the
hot.
first time, you're watching this person like have to know all this shit, and you're like, oh my god, because I'm trying to play for the first time.
I
My
never
brain's
realized
about
how
to
in
explode.
depth they are and how like
Heavy.
it's,
And then,
it's nuts.
but the reason why, because you never know when you're just gonna find something really cool. Like my friends also who help me with my game have their own podcast called Reliably Chaotic, and
Okay.
they do and like there's other D&D podcasts, but like those ones that have been going on for so long, it's so hard to get into it.
Niche
So you never
shows
know.
do well.
When someone's just gonna find something, you're like, oh, this is new, this is
Yeah.
good. I don't need to listen to 1,200 episodes to find out what's going on. I can jump in last minute. It's really
It's easier to get success with something like that than
No, I'm talking as a
with
listener.
us. No,
As a
that's what
listener,
I'm
it's
saying.
nice to
Yeah.
When you're looking to listen to something, you're like, if you want to listen to a Dungeons and Dragons, you're going to type in Dungeons and Dragons and all these podcasts.
You're gonna
that are
get
about, you're going to
the
get.
big ones.
Yep.
To look for us, you type in comedy. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
100
saying? Like,
billion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
everybody's doing it. We're not really unique. I mean,
Right.
And
as
none of
much
us
as
are like big.
No, we're not.
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
like those niche podcasts will probably get more listens than something like us because of there's like you're listening for a reason, and if it's good. Our Game of Thrones episodes did well because people type in Game of Thrones and they
Yeah.
look for it, and that's
Yeah.
what they wanted to hear.
Yeah.
So I think it's like that's actually pretty cool that they do that. To be
I
honest,
used
I
to
love that.
I used to do a
It's such a blast.
comedy show. I used to run. Me and Nick Labrisi used to do that a QED show.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like
I
once
did
a
it
month.
once.
Yeah, you did it. I don't know if you
a good
remember,
show.
but after our show
Yeah.
was a Dungeons and
Yo,
Dragons.
so
Dragons.
I was supposed to meet up with a friend who lived in Astoria after that show, and I actually stayed and was just chilling at the
Yeah.
at QED for a bit. He ended up canceling, so I just drove home. But I was listening to it, and
Mhm.
like they did a live show of it, and I
They
could
did
hear
a
it.
live show.
And it was one of those things where I was like, "Damn, I really."
And
this was before I played.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
I
So
feel like
funny.
our shows would end and
Yeah.
there'd be like 10 people leaving, and then 30 people would come in for the Dungeons and
love that
Dragons
shit,
show
dude.
after us. I was like, oh,
Well, that's what it is. Like people, like the people who are in it
Yeah,
are in it.
you get
Yeah.
and you get like you end up getting just sucked in. 'cause
But don't
you're
the
just like-
games take like they could take a year, right? Like I mean,
It
in
depends,
theory,
yeah. So before I did this one, they call them one shots because they're supposed to be able to be done in a day, but usually it takes like more
Couple.
than one session. And I did one or two of those, and it was fun, but like it's very quick.
I was gonna say it's probably
It's
not
like
as
it's like if you're playing a video game and there's a side mission, it's just the side mission.
yeah.
But like
Okay.
think of it like when you're playing now. it's like you're playing like if you're playing a real campaign, it's almost like you're playing Skyrim. They're just like, here's the main goal, and then as you go, it's like another person's like, oh, actually, if you're doing this, you think you could, and then you're like. My character in the game, my character was like, I guess I'm making the list, so I just kept adding So now
and I heard it's
so
cool
crazy.
because when people who play it, usually you get like a group of friends together. You get a bunch of food and cocktails or whatever you're drinking, smoking, and you're hanging out the whole night having like a grand time with this little game going on. It's almost
That's
like
right up your alley. I mean, you would
That's what I'm
definitely be into that.
This is why I think in my older, older, just
you don't want to get
as I've
too
gotten
fucked up
older,
because you can lose focus real quick.
Well, yeah,
and
I
you
mean,
gotta keep
obviously.
track. But
I'm into stuff like that, and
couple
I always
drinks.
feel like it's probably something I think I would have a lot of fun doing.
All right.
Maybe we should start a Dungeons and
Yeah.
Dragons.
Hey, listen, I'm
Fucking do
down.
it.
I'm down.
If someone can run it,
Yeah, we
Can't
need
run
somebody
it.
to
We
run
just
it.
know how to
we
play
need
now.
a master.
You find one, dude. You can
I'm
do
gonna
it.
have to reach out to my
Hilarious.
buddy
but
Mike.
It takes
Yeah.
the one
Mike, if you're
thing
listening, slide in my
that was really
DMs.
good about their podcast that they did is they did a really good job with editing and the fact that because sometimes you'll be in the middle of a battle or whatever, and they're just like, and then I'll just be like, wait, hold on, I'm confused, and I have to ask a question, and then it's like few minutes. They're really good at editing that out, so it's like it just seems like they're flowing it, and then they add a lot of good music to it too.
Oh,
So
all
this is your friend's.
my friend's podcast. Yeah,
so would
like
they actually take your game?
no,
and
not our game, their game.
Their
game.
Oh,
yeah.
so they don't talk about playing Dungeons and Dragons. They literally have a game going and they edit it for like. The
Yeah,
shows?
yeah. No,
Oh.
it's their campaign. Like it's
Oh,
their
I
thing.
thought it was like.
So like you're like the character. Some of them do voices.
So it's like people get to watch it.
Yeah.
It's almost like a show.
Yeah, it is.
Show, yeah.
It's like a TV show. Yeah.
Serial, like episodic show.
Yeah.
That's pretty
It's crazy.
That's
yeah.
actually a great idea. I didn't know. I honestly, when you first
There's a
said
lot
it,
of them. The big one is called Critical Role. That's like
Critical
that's like
Role.
the Joe Rogan experience of Dungeons and Dragons.
to me, that's
podcasts.
cool as can be though, because like
Yeah.
I think shit like that, like if you could, it's like following a show with a plot line.
Yeah.
Except these guys are doing it, and it's not pre-written. That's why I like it. You never know what's
Yeah.
gonna happen.
It is random, right? It's like
It's
It's
So-
up to the master's
The
discretion.
dungeon master,
Okay.
the DM has a general idea, but you can pretty much, you could almost like it could be like you're supposed to fight this person, but if you're good enough, maybe you can just talk your way out of it or something. Like there's a lot of weird things that can happen.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, I've been doing this like
Yeah.
6 weeks, so I'm
It
not the
sounds
one to actually
confusing.
talk about
No,
it.
it's definitely
It sounds
confusing.
cool.
This sounds like I would be lost.
You get lost with everything.
I know.
A fucking.
When you have to build a character, like when we were making our characters, my friend sent me like the PDF books all right, you want to be, if you want to be an orc, this is the shit you get for doing that. If you want to be like for you I don't know,
But you also have to know what the game's going to entail to know what type of character you want.
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
We all just came and he was like, you send them the character and
And he
might
makes
might
the game
tweak it
off
around
it?
a little
Okay.
bit. Like if you say like I don't know if you're like one of the priest kind of people, like
Yeah.
you hate undead creatures.
Okay.
So if it's he might throw some undead, so you're like, oh, I'm gonna kill this thing. Like
Yeah,
and like
I got
you.
you.
Yeah. Like my character in the game hates orcs, and we just fought a bunch of orcs. So I was like, it was for me. It was pretty much like this side mission is
for you.
my character.
your thing.
So yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, it was good.
All right.
It's like so interesting. But
I would do it. I
cool.
think I would do it.
I would do
but
it.
I know I would be so.
everyone. It's
I don't know if
definitely
I'd
one of
do it
those
for
things
a
where
year.
everyone's shitty in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, a year-long thing sounds like a lot.
But it's not like you're doing it every day. It's
Right.
like, we'll do it once a month
I
or
kinda
once a
like
week.
It's
the
almost like
idea of
Second
that.
Life.
Some people
Yeah.
will actually. So
Yeah.
we do
Remember
ours.
that?
We've been doing ours once a week, but some people, because of just time restraints, they'll do like one Saturday like a month, and they'll start at like
8 and 8
yeah,
to
they'll start early. They'll play for like 4 hours. They'll get lunch, and then they'll go back and play some more. So like,
Oh, see, that does
it's
sound
crazy
like
shit
fun.
like that. Yeah.
Well, that's. I
But-
mean, I just think it's always like the people who have those on continuing chess games. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I always think that's
My
cool
dad used to
because
do
it's
that
a
in the mail
never-ending
with
game.
people, yeah.
And I think that's awesome. And that's kind of why I like it. Because when you're doing something at night, it's like, oh, we got to finish it. And then sometimes it kind of ruins it trying to get it done in one night. But when you know it's just like we get what we get done and we pick up where we left off the
you
next
just kinda-
time.
Dude, it's literally like we joke. We'll say like, "Oh, last episode." We call him like my friend and I.
Yeah.
My friend and I who had just started, we'll like text each other and be like, "Yo, that was so fun." Like I don't even know. He's like, "Dude, that was a good episode." Sometimes you don't even. Some of the times like you're not even fighting shit. You're just walking around a town like talking to people. Like you find out that
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
really
yeah.
interesting because like how same thing with any like TV show.
Right.
And
Where
that's
it's
what,
like-
yeah, it's like
yeah.
a TV show.
You have to have like a crazy good imagination for that though, because like I'm picturing that, and I'm picturing like I played Skyrim a lot.
Yeah,
I'm picturing that.
yeah.
But I don't know if I can make that with my own brain.
You really have to. I mean, it's if the DM is good, they'll like describe like this is what you're seeing, this and that, and like yeah, you do have to use your.
Is it? I was just gonna say, and everything pretty much goes on the DM.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like,
I don't know. There's a lot. There's a lot. I
What do you
don't know.
mean on
Even
the
your
DM?
character?
Because he's the one, like the head guy,
Dungeon Master.
the
Oh,
dungeon
oh,
master,
yeah, yeah.
who's basically running the game,
Yeah,
controls every aspect of it, so to speak.
yeah.
And-
You could be like they'll be like, all right, so you're in a house. You go whatever. You open the house and they'll be like, okay, you walk in, you see this hallway. There are 4 doors there. What do you do? And then you could be like Mike, I'd be like, I'm gonna open up that, I'm gonna crack that door. He's like, you get hit with an arrow to the face. Like you just he'll say that,
okay.
and just
All
you
right.
just
Oh,
don't
and then
know.
you just
yeah,
die?
and he could do
No,
whatever.
like it's just I'm just saying.
Yeah,
No,
it's
but like,
just-
can you just die?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit.
So what happens a lot is sometimes if your character dies in the actual game, what you'll do is your character's dead. You will just create a new character, and then the group will just
Bring him back
yeah,
up.
They'll just
Okay.
not just they'll just be like blah blah blah, and then maybe they meet you at like the tavern or whatever, and they're just like, hey, want to join our? We just lost our
Yeah, and
fort,
now
you
you're
know,
in
and
there.
then
Yeah.
you just so
Oh,
like
that's cool.
You could reincarnate yourself.
And that's what I'm saying.
Kind
And
of,
it's all
yeah.
up to his creativity. They're almost like writers.
Well,
Yeah.
they do. They write. So there's one. So they have books, I guess. Like there's like the people. I think it's Wizards of the Coast is like the people who do it. They'll have like pre-made campaigns where you
Okay.
you buy the book. It has the campaign pretty much set out to you, and that's that. And that's kind of we're doing one. He like tweaked it a bit
Yeah.
just to make it his own, but like it's a starter one because
Yeah.
I'm new. But there are people who will literally write their own.
And I think
just
this guy
their
Mike I
own.
was telling you
Yeah.
about pretty much has his
He
own.
does that.
Some of them
game
have
and,
them
like,
written and are like, I want to run this game, and they need to find people to actually do it.
That's why I like it because
Yeah.
it's a lot more into it than I always thought there
And
was.
yeah, it is because you always
Yeah,
think
I
of
didn't
that
know
like
any of
that's
that.
some nerdy, and it is.
Listen, it is,
It
but
is
there's nothing
nerdy.
wrong with it.
But
It's-
they're all like
it's
fantasy
funny to do
writers,
that shit.
too.
That's like
Yeah.
I always was like, I like always like delving into the nerdy stuff. I never got into it like where like I'll play like Magic the Gathering, but I won't spend thousands of dollars on
Yeah.
cards. I'll be like, no, I'll buy a couple decks. We'll shoot the shit some days and
Yeah.
play and like it's interesting how the world has shifted where people are like, oh, actually, yeah, it's nerdy, but it also is fun.
Yeah,
and there's a
things-
reason why people like it. That kind of stuff.
I feel like there's a lot of things that have just like come full circle where it's like
Yeah.
at first they're not really accepted by the masses,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then they
Also, things that stick around that long. It's like there's something to
there's
it.
something to
Dude,
it.
Dude, it's been
There's
around
gotta be
since
something.
like what, the 80s or
I
something?
feel like even before that, I mean, there's old
70s,
80s movies
yeah.
where they're
Yeah.
talking about playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah,
been around
it's
forever, right?
really
So
crazy
it-
how long it's been around.
something that
They have
stands the
variations
test of
too.
time.
They'll be like it's technically considered Dungeons and Dragons, but it'll be like in Star Wars world.
Dude,
like
I-
they have like those variations. One of them
kinda
I heard
cool.
about once like Pokemon, so you literally
Yeah.
like will go around and be like, you see a Charizard, what do you do?
Pikachu
Like, oh,
or
freaking, I'm
whatever.
gonna. It's like it's so interesting how like they've branched it off to these.
I thought
all these
Dungeons
other
Dragons
things.
was a game, like Clue was.
Like a board game. Yeah, yeah.
And it was
That's
Dungeons
how I
and
always thought
Dragons,
it was.
and I
Yeah.
thought because I never realized that everybody who's playing it is kind of playing their own thing. I
Yeah.
always thought it was like
You thought that.
we're playing Monopoly, they play Dungeons and
Yeah,
Dragons.
Yeah.
the dice are more of a probability thing. Like if you go to attack someone,
Oh, okay.
you have to roll to see if you actually
likely
hit
to-
them.
yeah.
and it's like your thing versus another thing.
Okay.
Cool.
It's like it's really cool learning
Interesting.
about this shit.
It is. That's our. That's the 411 on Dungeons and
That's
Dragons.
it. Yeah, I never thought it would go this way, but
no, I'm happy
You never
did.
think it was things would go away when you bring it up, but
Yeah.
I've.
it was just one of the things that over quarantine that I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna do this now's the time
Now's
to
the
do
time
it.
to dive in.
Exactly.
So,
It's- Quarantine was a great time to
it was interesting.
figure out different stuff.
And that's kind of why I like talking to people because everybody's quarantine was different.
Speaking
Every
of
single
quarantine-
guest
Now I
we
wanna
had.
get into-
What's up with the tea?
That
I
was
wanna-
the next
All
thing.
right.
Let's get to this tea.
So you have would you call it a web series? What would you call
All right,
it?
I started this little series called Spill the Tea with Tommy D, and
YouTube.
yeah, YouTube.
Okay.
YouTube, Spill the Tea with Tommy D. I think it's just under Tom DeCillis Comedy is like the YouTube channel, but then like if you go to it, there's the block with all the
Yes.
episodes. And I got really into loose leaf tea, like in college.
Can you explain loose leaf tea?
Okay,
I
so-
do not drink tea.
So when you get tea in a tea bag, It's
Closed leaf.
it's the reason why it's not loose leaf because the leaves aren't loose. They're in the
Fucking
bag.
Mr. Wizard over here.
They're also like kind of chopped up and it's like very processed. Like
It's
you're
like
drinking like a Lipton or
shitty
something.
weed. It's like
You see-
Snickle
yes.
Fritz.
Okay, it's like shake. Think
Yes.
shake or something,
okay,
right?
That's exactly.
All right, see, I
Can
got
I
this.
tell you when you were
So,
saying it? That's exactly.
Would you
what I
rather
was
would you
thinking.
rather have shake or would you rather have some like beautiful purple
like nug?
fuzzy buzz that you can break apart and just really
Yeah.
that's like the difference. It's like
You
the
smoke pot
quality.
with that, or did?
Allegedly. Yeah. No, I actually do. Yeah.
Yes,
But,
because I can tell just by that.
like, bro, what do you no.
But
so,
just how we
so
said
pretty
to break
much
up
when
the
you buy
nug.
it, it comes in a big bag and you need to use like a strainer or some sort of like teapot with the T-ball
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
like those types of things. And like I got really into it. And I worked for a tea company for a while and then when I stopped working for it, I really
Missed
it, and I really like just talking about it because I literally, speaking of nerdy stuff, like my friends used to come over, we'd play like Magic the Gathering, and I would literally like make them tea, and they'd be like, "This shit's fucking awesome," and I'm like, so it tastes so much better, and you can definitely like as like
Pour me a little bit of that. 'Cause
Now
I'm
pour
a big,
me a shot because
So
I
this-
don't like
I'm
it.
a
I
big
just want to
tea guy.
taste it.
this is a blackberry mojito green tea.
Now, can I ask you one
I don't
want to
pour over the soundboard, so
Is
let's.
this, when we say tea, are we
Yes.
talking about iced tea or are we talking about
I made this
like
one
British
iced.
tea?
This is
burning
ice.
Hit it, yeah, hit. All right.
Well, no, I know,
No.
I
It's
know
gonna
that.
melt
but
in
the
the
listeners
cup.
don't. I'm good. I'm good.
So
Thank
when you
you
talk about iced tea, that's like a powdered nonsense. That's like I don't even.
well,
know
that's what I
that is.
want for our tea people, mostly
is
me,
like real-
to explain.
So what tea is like? There's the plant is called Camellia sinensis.
See,
so if we're
I
gonna
could drink this all day.
if we're gonna talk
I
about
could drink this all day.
if we're gonna talk about weed is marijuana.
Yes.
Right. That's the plant.
Yeah.
So tea is Camellia sinensis. When someone has an herbal tea, like you've heard that term herbal
Mhm.
tea. So what actually that means is there's actually no tea in it. It means there's herbal ingredients. So it's
Okay.
just
Oh.
it's just like fruits and flowers or like whatever. So
Really?
I had
yeah,
no
it's
idea.
like it's kind of weird. So the tea leaves, the reason why it just tastes better when you have the full tea leaves. It's the same thing with like
Okay.
just it gets all
Now, is
processed.
tea
and breaking up.
supposed
There's
to be
like depth
cold or
in this.
warm, or is it?
So I made this ice
that a
because it's hot
preference
as
thing?
balls right now.
Okay, but is that a
Um,
preference?
I prefer hot tea, but in my air conditioned apartment, not
Okay.
outside and humid and stuff like that. Also, if it wasn't for quarantine and we were inside, I would bring like a teapot and I would
Yeah.
like make it. But I made this, so this pitcher I have has like a big strainer that comes with it, and like I just so literally like 20 minutes before I came, I brewed this, put it in the freezer for a bit, and then
Well,
filled
that's
it up
what I was
with
going to. So
ice cubes.
everything you have to brew, right? It's not like
you brew. It's not a mix. Yeah, there's no
Okay.
mix.
All right, so explain what we're drinking here.
All right,
This is-
so
Is there a right way to taste tea?
just
like
pour it
you-
on your
so
head.
What are you
actually,
doing?
yeah, if we're gonna do this,
I'm
you wanna
doing
do it
this
right?
fucking
Do it
right,
So
bro.
you're
You
gonna
just had
first
to
you're
do
gonna
it.
want
By
to
the way,
smell
can I
it.
get a little more because
Absolutely.
that was delicious.
This is delicious, right?
This is what I'm saying. Like they just sipped it and were like, it's
You're
good.
gonna wanna- so smell it.
If we're gonna
Give it
do
a
this
little-
shit,
give it
we
a
gotta
little
do
smell,
it fucking right.
So all right, you want to drink tea like a pretentious
Me and
person
you,
like me?
Tom, the two
All right.
Toms, are gonna drink tea
All right,
like
shut
fucking
up and
gentlemen.
Cheers.
Let's do it.
So you're gonna smell it first, right?
Yep.
Okay.
It smells like a powder almost.
It's
to me.
far from it, my friend. I was gonna bring some, except
No,
this
no,
was,
I'm not saying it is. It's
I was gonna bring some to show like what it looks like
The
before,
difference.
but I actually I used all of it for this pitcher. So I mean, but it was the last bit. So
Smells like
now
spearmint
when
gum.
you drink the tea, you're actually supposed to. It's like an ASMR thing. You just kind of like.
You supposed to slurp?
Yeah, you're supposed to slurp it. Yeah, you're gonna feel a little pretentious, but. So now with this tea, this yeah,
like that?
because you're aerating it in your mouth. So this every couple weeks I'll like order like 3 or 4 teas
Yeah.
from a different loose leaf tea company, and then I'll taste them. Fucking
so
listeners,
fucking
your fucking listeners are
obnoxious.
like, fuck this. Either that or they're gonna be getting that weird tingly thing in the.
That was B with the obnoxious slurp.
You're slurping the tea, not
He
sucking
did it
a
right
dick.
next to the
Jesus.
mic too. It's not even like he put it away from the mic.
All right, enough with the
sorry.
weird noises.
Go on.
So this is by a company called Hackberry Tea. I just went on, and so the Blackberry Mojito is a flavored green tea. So it has green tea leaves in it, but it's probably pretty low in caffeine because of the. Typically, green tea leaves Chinese green tea leaves don't tend to have that much caffeine in it. I have a whole bunch of episodes on the differences. It is a lot. Like there's a
Oh,
lot.
I believe it.
I literally could talk for like hours on it. But so this one has green tea leaves, mint leaves.
That's what I
mint.
said.
Yeah,
the
the mint.
spearmint.
Well, mojito.
Yeah,
And
Mojito's
then
mint?
Did I say blackberry? It's actually it's a pomegranate. That's it. Pomegranate mojito.
I don't
So,
taste the pomegranate.
Pomegranate might be a little light. It might
wouldn't
be
know a
more to
pomegranate would hit you in the
add. I feel like when I did it hot on the episode, I tasted the pomegranate a little bit more.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I asked you if it was like, is it supposed to be drank any specific way? Is it?
So when I drank
supposed to be
it, when I
hot?
drank it hot in the episode, I tasted more of. You definitely taste the mint and the probably a little bit of the lime, and the pomegranate is a little more subtle.
Okay.
It just depends. Like if you're, and you know what? It's kind of like anything else, where some people,
So that's what I was gonna say. It's a preference.
your taste buds might focus more on other things.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
there's sometimes you'll drink like. So this was is considered a flavored tea because it's got all the different flavors and ingredients. If you were to drink like a plain pure black tea, it's literally like there's variants. Like a tea from India is going to taste different than a tea from
And this is
China.
unsweetened tea, right?
I didn't put anything in this.
This
And
tastes
it's
delicious.
so is
it actually
unsweetened-
tastes very good for an unsweetened
for
iced
your
tea.
nutritionist friend, 0 calories.
Yeah.
Nice.
0.
I am an unsweetened iced tea guy. I drink all
Can I
unsweetened iced tea.
tell you how disgusting
I
I think
know.
unsweetened iced
What
tea
about green?
is?
See, I can't do black tea unsweetened.
I drink
It's too
all.
strong.
See,
I
I
do
was
put lemon
different
in.
teas.
I was
There's like a
thinking
black
about. I
tea,
wanted to
green
do
tea.
the. I
Yeah.
brought the flavor because it's a little more palatable. If you, I don't know that if I ever come back on the show, I
No,
will
you're
bring
never
a
coming
more.
back.
After they'd be
I'll
like,
have you
the
back."
Slurpee guy. I don't know. It's crazy because like when I worked at the tea company, the whole thing was like. We would bring someone to just a plain black tea that was brewed with loose leaf tea because it is insanely more palatable.
Now, do you make your own tea?
Like with the leaves and stuff?
Yeah, like,
no,
can you,
no.
like,
A
grow
tea
your own and
grows,
make-
Tea grows best at like high altitude and
Okay.
like specific climates.
So
It
it's not
wouldn't-
something that's
It doesn't
the
even.
DIY
Actually,
can
I
do.
really like. One time, one customer, he was like, "No, I only drink American tea," and I was like,
Get outta
"What's
here.
American tea?" And he was like, like Tetley and stuff. And I was like, "All that tea's from England, dude. Like there's no such thing as American tea. Like there's no such thing. It doesn't grow
I love
here."
It. I love it. He
I'm a
grows
Tetley.
so fucking stupid.
I'm
I
a
know.
Tetley.
And that was gonna be
hilarious.
my next question.
Tetley guy.
So is the
He
tea?
spelled it too. He's like T-E-T-L-E-Y. He's like, that kind
T-E-T-L-E-Y.
of tea. I'm like, yeah, it's not from America, guaranteed.
Oh my god.
Are
Probably
there,
from China and England.
Is that what the two main or the only two?
all the tea leaf exclusively came from China,
Okay.
and then it was like sent around the world.
Well,
and
that's what I was
stuff.
gonna say, and
It's
then
a
other places
massive
try and-
commodity, like thousands of just it's insane. Like the recent episode I posted was this tea. It's called Pu'er. It's a black tea, but what they do is they leave it in like kind of like caves to like ferment over time,
Okay.
and it actually ages like a wine. Where like the longer you age it,
I feel like you're like a
wow.
wine.
Get it?
Like
Oh,
this
that's
isn't. This is just a different.
I
No,
don't
not
like-
that
yeah.
you're a
No,
wine
no,
guy,
yeah,
but
there's-
it's
it's
the
like-
same thing, but
it goes deep.
like a
And
sommelier of
I
tea.
consider myself
A
more of an
sommelier.
amateur to most people, but like I'm more of an enthusiast.
Okay.
But the purpose is I like talking about tea. People, even after I worked for a tea company, would ask me just basic tea questions. So I was like, you know what? I do stand up. I love tea. So what I do in the show is I start it off. I tell what the tea I'm going to brew. And now the tea, another reason why a lot of people don't like tea is like if you read the instructions on
doesn't
the
have
tea,
much taste to it.
well, it'll say steep this for 2 minutes or 3 minutes.
When
And
that
what
says
what
steep,
the
that
most
means
people
leave
do.
it in there.
Yeah, so what makes tea taste like bitter and nasty is if you oversteep it because it's too concentrated. So when I did this iced tea, I brewed it, but I brewed a concentrate because I was going to cut it with water and ice.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Well, you
it
know
would
what
taste-
you're doing.
I know what I'm doing. I'm a professional.
He's a
Yeah.
pro.
So most of the time tea tastes bad because people oversteep it.
Interesting.
The other thing is if you're doing a green tea, if you use boiling water, you burn the tea leaves. So
Oh.
you actually have to use, in the episodes when I do green teas or white teas, I will explain, I'll put a couple ice cubes in there to cool the water down to about
So you
like
don't boil it.
175. Yeah.
So explain this to me. What's the difference between a black tea, a green tea? Are they?
So it's based on oxidation.
it's not the leaf.
No, the leaf is the exact same. It is
Oh,
the exact
okay.
same leaf. So what they do is they pick the leaf. Once you pick the leaf, just like how a leaf would start to darken,
Yeah.
oxidize. So if it's for green and white teas, they don't let it oxidize because once you apply heat, they'll usually do like a steam or sun, like use the sun to heat the leaves. It stops the oxidation. So that's like basically green teas and white teas. green teas just use different processes.
Yeah.
So now black teas, what they do is they let the tea sit out, and it completely oxidizes, which is why they turn black.
And what's the difference in taste now? From
So
the
the
two?
taste is just going to be way bolder. Like think of any.
It's like stronger for the
much
for the
stronger.
black one.
Yeah,
It's
and
like
then
black
there's-
coffee almost, where it's not like
not that strong, but like
okay.
it's just going to have a way different taste.
Okay.
And then there's
Interesting.
oolong tea, which is
never heard of
actually
that.
you've never heard of it before.
No.
Okay, so oolong tea is what they do is they let it oxidize like halfway.
Okay.
It's like
and
in
then
between.
it's like a middle
It's like a
point, yeah.
hybrid.
Yes, it's like a hybrid.
That catches on quick. Better fill that out.
I just got to relate. You
fast.
just got to
Listen,
relate
I'm not an
everything.
idiot. I can pick up on this stuff.
When he
It's
goes to the
plants.
job, when you talk to your boss, you be
Yeah.
like, listen, he'll get the job. You just have to reference everything to marijuana. And
I know plants.
all right, this
I
meat
know
here, this
nuts.
meat's like a nice indica. You gotta. So yeah,
Well,
so
'cause most weed now, I mean, I don't even mean to completely cut you off, but there's, it's
it's extreme now.
it's extremely like if you don't know what you're smoking, like people are very conscious of what they're smoking now. To
Right.
like a tea where it's, I want an indica, I want a sativa, or and most now are hybrids where there's
Yeah.
both effects.
It used to be
throughout the
like
high.
I'm gonna buy weed and then
Exactly.
whatever my plans are, I'm gonna see
I'm
if
gonna-
it goes with
yes,
it. Like, do we want to watch a
exactly.
movie and then you end up getting a sativa and your heart's gonna burst out of your chest because I'm like I don't want to watch this anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Or you
That's
smoke
what's-
the indica and you can't get up.
Yeah, you're like, let's smoke and go to Splish Splash,
And
and then
then
you're
you-
still in the car like,
and you can't do a fucking thing.
yeah.
That's
and
what
it's-
stopped me from smoking for
But
years.
that, and I tell
I
you,
got the
most
wrong
You never
people-
knew
stuff.
because they were just like, this is blueberry
This
yum
is-
yum,
this
and you're
is
like, what
good.
the fuck is that?
This
I
is
don't know.
stronger than the
Sounds like a thing.
dirt you've been smoking, so you're gonna be retarded.
Um,
like it's but
Whatever
yeah.
you gave me is
Yeah.
the right stuff for me.
So what I do now, like I said, because so this tea will steep for like 2 or 3 minutes. So I will get the tea set up. I pour the hot water in. I set my timer, and then I will just talk shit pretty much, and I will talk
Okay.
about
Yeah.
whatever's going on. You know, like.
That's
Last
great.
week I
love
talked
it.
about like Salino and Barnes breaking up and stuff. Just like whatever. I just
Yeah, no, I
pretty
got
much
you.
like a free write for the week and just prep. I'm sure do you guys do any prep for this or?
A very, very minimal.
Yeah.
Sometimes we more than others. Like we'll have a game or something.
Yeah.
But
We
Yeah.
talk
that's
for a couple minutes before.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's only when I'm
You
up
saw our
to
prep.
episode 12. I think I've only been doing this for like.
yeah. But you know what though? We like ours is different than yours. I mean, we like to just let the conversations organically come. We like to have a
Yeah.
basis of bullet points of what we want to talk about, and then it's like, all right, let's
Yeah.
start and see where it goes.
Yeah,
I
we've
think it'd be
talked about
cool to
doing
like
skits and stuff,
expand
but-
on it
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah.
Pre-planned things for us don't work.
Yeah.
For us, I feel like the best things, and this probably works with yours. You just sort of talk, and the right things will
The
happen.
only thing that I worry is like
Sometimes it
I
doesn't.
do some prep on the topic because I'm by myself. There's
Well,
no one
that's
to riff
different. You
off
need
of.
to
when
know.
you're by yourself,
Yeah.
it's.
And I didn't
yeah.
want to be like, it's only 2 or 3 minutes. Sometimes it's 5, depending on the tea. But I'll be like, no, I'm serious. Like, because some teas will steep for
This
5
reminds
minutes.
me of my cousin Vinny when he's cooking his grits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like when one episode I did like a specific green tea that only steeps for 1 minute. So I just was
Oh.
like, I just had to like talk real fast
Yeah.
and like get
You
some
talk
shit
during
out.
the steep.
Yeah, during the
Okay.
time to kill the time.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Go ahead.
So I drink tea as I don't drink coffee. I drink tea
Yeah.
as my caffeine boost in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
morning.
How should it be drank?
What do you mean?
Like, what's its
Wait,
purpose?
Pete, finish your question.
Yeah, yeah.
what
Finish.
I was-
oh,
no,
yeah,
go,
finish.
go,
How
go.
should it be drank?
Go,
with
go,
your
I'm sorry.
mouth.
With a straw. so
Don't
you know.
pour it
I'll
up your
rephrase it.
asshole.
I'm sorry, babe.
Well, I drink it as like my morning coffee. Like
Yeah,
the tea
there's-
wakes me up. So what's the caffeine like? Like
All right,
is
so
a black tea an Earl Grey? What
a
are we
black
looking at with
tea, a
caffeine?
black tea will definitely tends to have more caffeine.
Okay.
There's certain types of green teas that will have a decent amount of caffeine. Pu'er tea is supposed to have a decent amount of caffeine in it. Pu'er tea, yeah. So it pretty much it tends to have a little bit less caffeine than coffee in
Right.
general. I drink a lot of caffeine all the time.
Yeah, you.
Because I drink tea all day, and then I also work for a coffee shop, ironically. So
my thing was going to be though, like, you have milk as a morning drink or a night drink, and beer. You know, there's certain drinks for certain things.
I drink
Where
my
does
tea at
tea
night.
fall? Is tea a
well,
breakfast, like to get you going
it
for the
depends.
day?
I
It
guess
Or to
it
calm
depends
you-
what-
So
what
like
time
a like a black tea, typically, if we're talking logistically, again, there's like I'll drink tea all day. I'll drink
Yes.
tea, whatever, doesn't matter.
You don't take naps, huh?
No.
Oh, I take a nap
No, I don't take any naps.
because
so.
I base
Stop
my
saying
naps
useless
Off the
things.
tea.
around the caffeine.
Yeah, I guess
I'm with
I don't know.
you.
I don't do
just
any of
pound
that.
caffeine all day.
Yeah,
I
me
agree.
too.
I
I drink
soda
caffeine
and
all
I
day.
try not to nap.
I also
Yep.
like I get migraines, so drinking a ton of caffeine helps.
Helps.
it. And
Does
then,
that? I thought it
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
it worse.
It can go either way. But my neurologist, and I told like my neurologist, I was like, "Yo, I think I drink way too much caffeine, but if I don't drink it, I get a headache." And he's like, "Yeah." He's like migraine. He's like pretty much like
You're
migraine
addicted.
brains don't like change. So pretty much if I cut it, my headache is gonna be like, "Yo,
Oh.
fuck you." No, where is it?
Well, because now your body's used to it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I drink a lot, but so yeah, black tea would typically be in the morning. Oolong tea can have a medium caffeine amount. White tea tends to be lower.
Are there
Green-
any teas that put you out?
There's no.
Yeah, what
sorry,
is this
so,
sleepy time?
Yeah. Did you ever
Okay,
feel like
again-
that they told like to relax you?
All
It's
right,
like
so
tea.
we have. All right,
I drink an.
we're gonna be here all night.
Dude, we don't care
All
unless
right,
you have to
so-
go somewhere.
No. So tea has there's the caffeine in it. It also has L-theanine, which is a compound that promotes relaxation.
Okay.
So like a low caffeine green tea could be is good for relaxation.
Okay.
So like a tea like this naturally is low in caffeine. There's technically, and this goes for coffee too, decaf
It's not.
is not, it's not a real thing. It's what you do is they do like some sort of process to remove most of the caffeine. So decaf has some caffeine in it,
It's just not.
but
as
a green
much.
tea like this is going to be so low it's almost the same amount of caffeine as a decaf.
I got you.
A sleepy time tea is what I told you before is like an herbal tea. So there's no, the reason why there's no caffeine because there's no tea leaves.
I got you.
Zero. So
I don't think the public knows that.
most
That's
people
what I'm
don't.
saying. I don't
This
think
is why
this
I
is-
liked my job because I
this
just
is-
blow people's minds all day.
This
I'm
is
like, you don't even
definitely
know.
not common
This goes all the way to
knowledge.
the top.
It's true. But no, it's true though.
like
People-
a
there's
reptilian
probably,
people conspiracy about tea.
but there's probably 100 people listening to the show about who drink tea and have no idea.
You have no idea what you're.
I had
Dude,
no
I-
idea. I drink those herbal teas all
Yeah.
the time. I had
Yeah.
no idea.
I am
that-
one of the biggest tea drinkers. I've talked to you. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
tea, but I had no idea about all this.
I'll I could
and I would tell you if I
Give us
hated
some real
this,
things.
and I
Yeah.
do not like tea.
I'm gonna go through the supermarket. And
It's
It's just
cross
like
out
it's all about
tea on
actually.
other
So
herbal
Yeah.
one of the
But
tea
this was
companies I
good.
did, you can find in Stop and Shop.
Well, let me rephrase that.
yeah.
This wasn't good to me. It wasn't. It doesn't have a
It
taste.
surprised you.
Yeah,
You know
it
how I
wasn't
said
bad.
I
Like,
liked
I
it?
don't think they have a taste.
It's, here's the thing. It's like anything else. It's not for everyone.
Exactly.
Some
that's
people
why
just
I don't
don't
feel
like
bad
it. That's
saying it.
fine.
I'm
I
not
don't care.
bashing it.
But you know what? You're like a soda guy. So
But
like,
that's what I'm saying. I'm
Yeah,
not
see,
healthy.
I can't drink soda.
Exactly.
Soda's like
I
that
don't-
Coke right
If you
there.
put
That's
4 packets of sugar in that, he might like it.
yeah, I don't drink my unsweetened iced tea with lemon every morning because of the taste. I drink it
But I
because it
know
gives.
some people who genuinely love it.
See, I love a good green tea. The taste.
I
what
don't
I'm
mind the
saying.
taste. It's
Yeah.
not like it's. I just enjoy it because it kind of starts my day. I my eyes open with the
But
tea.
this to me was pretty good.
I typically start my
this
day
is delicious.
with.
and I
with tea,
think it's
yeah.
because most teas, like he said, that we get are what's it, steeped.
So it's not only
That's
like
what
with
they
the
say.
problem with like a Lipton is not only is it like just in the bag.
I feel like it's
the bag
dirty.
also absorbs some of the flavor, which is why the loose leaf is better using with a strainer. But also that tea in there, they do. It's called the CTC method. I think it's like cut, tear, chop. I gotta remember that. But essentially, they just beat the shit out of the tea. That's the
Okay.
shake. They're just like bop, 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 bop.
It just
crush, crush, crush,
I don't know.
crush.
It's
It's
just
mass
to
produced.
me,
Yeah.
it tastes dirty.
Cut,
And I don't
tear,
know how to
crush. That's
I
what it
know
is.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying.
Like I feel like if I had water and I tasted water, I'm like, oh,
It's
that's
literally
tea.
like it's trash. I always refer to Lipton as the natty ice of tea. It is like
Yeah.
it is just it is at the bottom
And
of
I
the
see
barrel.
people order like when I go to a restaurant, people getting beer and
Yeah.
soda, or just like people like to have a nice little drink with their meal, and then someone orders like an unsweetened iced tea.
That's me.
Yeah.
It turns my stomach.
That's me all the
I
time.
don't. So I am like I'm very particular.
It does, bro. I swear to God.
I'm actually very particular about all of the beverages I drink. I don't know why it's so like I'll eat. I tend to eat
Anything but-
healthy, but like if you put chicken nuggets in front of me, I will eat them.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
of course.
If you put Lipton tea, if you put Bud Light,
But that's because
if
you know
put
so much about it. You're.
But like also, I don't know a ton about beer. But I know if you put a Bud Light, if you're like, you want a Bud Light? Nah,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Right.
I don't want it.
Well, I'm like that too with drinks. I do not like beer, and I can't just have one to have one. Like
Right.
to me, it's even less of a point to have one because if I'm not getting drunk, why even drink it?
That's another
only
aspect.
drinks soda, orange soda. I'm surprised we have a Coke here.
I like soda. I'm generally a Coca-Cola, Dr. Pepper, and Sunkist. And I use those brands specifically because I am specific to the brand and the drink. And it's even certain bottles.
Do you,
and
do you
cans.
invest in that company? Is that why?
I use it specifically because I'm specific to the drink.
Because, like,
What the hell is he just
Sierra
saying?
Mist
I'm so
doesn't
confused.
taste like Sprite.
Sorry.
Fanta doesn't
what he
taste
likes.
like
He knows
Sunkist.
what he
Yeah,
likes.
We're talking about tea.
So
though.
No,
you're
no,
like,
it's fine. It's fine.
So you're like a sommelier of tea. He's a sommelier of sugary sodas.
Hey, man, you
He
know what?
knows.
You never freaking
But
know.
it's true,
really
though. People
mad
know
at
their
PepsiCo
drinks. They don't
right
taste
now.
the
Have
same.
you ever been to a street fair and seen Wild Bill's?
Yes.
You ever have Wild Bill's root beer or something like that?
I don't like root beer.
They have other sodas there,
They
but
have
literally.
orange soda.
Oh, really? I would try
It's
it.
like
How's
a
that cola?
You're
If
talking
any-
like a
Stewart's
when
orange soda is
eventually-
disgusting.
When we eventually can have street fairs again, they're usually at like street fairs.
Those are banned
and
forever. Those will never
freaking-
happen again.
Oh, don't say that.
I don't
I
agree.
think
feel like
eventually-
street fairs are so dirty that they'll never happen again.
We'll get there.
We'll see.
like
I
enjoy
agree
a
with
good
you. I
drink.
love
Yeah, I
a
love a good
greasy
street
food
But I
from
know
a
what you.
street fair.
So
Oh,
you're
that-
talking
when you
about
think
one of those.
about it,
They
you
pull
think
up
they're ever gonna
and there's
have
a
a place
bunch
like
of
that again?
taps.
Yeah,
on them.
yeah. They have like it's like a truck and they have like taps. Yeah, it's
I
really
enjoy
good shit.
that stuff, man.
I've enjoyed it too. But yeah, I don't know. I like for some reason when it comes to like even like coffee, like I will drink coffee, but I don't like
I
it
hate coffee,
if it's
too.
like if I'm at a diner or like a deli and it's like that fucking whatever
Shit
Maxwell
coffee,
like
yeah.
it tastes horrible.
No,
It's
you're
just
right.
I
bad.
agree with you. I think coffee is even worse than tea.
Yeah, I mean,
I want to be
I'm a
into
big
coffee.
black coffee guy.
I like
Love it.
I'll drink black coffee if it's like really high quality shit.
My
Are you into, like, the
brother
specialty-
works for the same company you do, and you get like that free thing a week or whatever. the
Yeah.
free pound bag.
You get a free pound bag, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
You want some coffee? Oh no, you don't drink coffee. Never mind.
Do you do they have now sweetened tea?
Yeah.
Is that just ice? Is that just like tea that I think of, or is that even is that
Tea
like
with sugar,
tea?
right?
All right.
Is
so
it just like a
when
sugar
you think of a
additive
sweetened
to it?
tea, so there's two different things. I could have put sugar in this. That would be a sweetened tea, right? If
But
I
that's-
sweetened it.
But that's not like iced tea though. That's we
So when you're talking about iced tea, you're talking about the powder.
yes.
I don't even know what the fuck that
That
is,
is
to be
okay.
honest.
No,
I
yeah,
don't
that's
know what
fine.
that
Okay.
is.
I
So
agree.
sweetened iced tea is strictly sugar added to
My
a
wife
tea.
sent me a video. It was like a TikTok that some woman made famous, and she's like, "This is how I make hot tea." And she put like tablespoons of like that powder
Yeah.
with like tablespoons of like sugar into a mug with hot water, with
Oh.
water, and put it in the microwave. And I was like, "You just ruined my entire day."
That's fucking gross.
I know. I was like, I've never wanted to punch a woman before.
So, but so
his
sweet
bitch.
tea though, sweetened. But sweetened tea is just it's actual real tea with just a sugar.
If you're getting it at a
added
diner, I don't know what the hell it is.
But
To
yeah.
be
Yeah,
honest,
that's what
I don't know
I'm saying.
what
At a
they're
restaurant,
doing.
When you get
Like that
sweetened
deli
tea, what
iced
is
tea?
it?
When you
Is
see
there-
that thing like when you're at a deli and you see like the iced coffee and the iced tea like churning in that
Yes.
machine,
That's just iced tea.
I don't know what that is, and I'm
No,
just being
that-
honest
no,
with
it's-
you.
That's just like those.
It's I'm
those little
assuming
packets
it's
you can
sugary,
get to add
powdery
your
stuff.
water.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like that.
So like, but if you go to Houlihan's and you order a sweet tea instead of an unsweetened iced,
I'm gonna
is
say-
it-
they-
are they
My
just
dude,
putting sugar?
I would
in tea?
I would love to tell you what that is. I do not know.
Okay, that's
I don't know
alright.
what it
That's
is.
a better-
I'm
that's-
assuming if
that's
you
a
got
good
a hot
answer, 'cause
tea,
I was curious.
if you got a hot tea, they would bring you either Lipton or Tetley or one of
it's-
those tea bag teas
and microwave
because that's
it.
A
what,
good American tea.
But that's yeah, good American tea.
But they have, if you go to like a Houlihan's, and I get unsweetened iced tea all the time, it just tastes like a regular unsweetened iced tea. There's
They
no-
might
there's
they
nothing in
might
it.
do it. Like they might use
Probably tea
some
bags,
tea
right?
bags and make it concentrated and pour it
Yeah.
over ice. They might do that. I don't know.
Because that's why
most
I
of the
think I
time-
learned something. Because I always wondered why someone said, "Oh, I'll take like a sweet tea." I'm like, why don't you just order iced tea?
Well,
There's
sweet
so
tea, I
sweet
feel,
tea is
is
like a
Yeah.
sweet tea is like a whole nother thing. That's like a
That's like a southern.
that's big in like the
thing,
South
right?
and stuff.
Is that?
too.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
fucking. Once you throw the word tea in it, it confuses
But
me.
I'm 90%
I can see
sure.
that.
See, like, I think with like sweet tea, they might do like a regular iced tea and then just throw a ton of sugar in.
And like
Okay.
a
That's what it
whole
seems like.
Yeah.
thing of
But
sugar.
It's like double the sugar.
the sweet tea is it's like a different taste though, and I enjoy a good
thick,
sweet tea.
right? It's
Yes,
thick.
it's
Yeah.
almost like
Because
it's
you're drinking the
weird.
powder too.
They
It's
probably
like-
put like molasses in
You're
it or
right.
something.
That's that's exactly what I was saying. It's thick. It is like a thickness to it. It's like a
maple
thick
syrup
sugar.
or
It
something.
is hard
Exactly.
to get through.
Yeah,
it's
But not
Why
even
do
like
British
real maple
love
syrup. Like
tea?
now that it's gone, but
Well,
Aunt Jemima's maple syrup.
I do
R.I.P.
want to know why the British and like the Chinese love tea with their like. Is it?
Oh,
Like,
it's based-
Does it go with their meals?
It was all right.
like a
So it was
storage thing,
heavily
right?
based off of trade.
Oh, okay.
So like tea was super desirable. when it was discovered, and they traded to like Europe and all these different countries. Then eventually what happens is they took the plant and they moved it to different countries so it can grow in different countries, and it kind of spread out from there.
Okay.
But so yeah, it goes really deep in like trade and almost like, I mean, look at for here. I think the biggest reason why we don't have tea is probably like why tea isn't big in America is because of the Boston Tea Party is probably why.
Yeah.
Because people
That
are
actually,
like,
you know what? I never
fuck
really
this.
thought about that.
Although, you know, if you buy loose leaf tea, I mean, there might be fees, but like when I worked at the tea shop, there was no tax on the tea.
Really?
Oh, that's kind of cool.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
America! Fuck yeah!
Still going strong.
That is so great. I had no idea.
That's one of the greatest facts.
250-year grudge.
Yeah.
That is one
We'll
of the
tax you on
greatest-
everything, but not the tea. We ain't giving it to the damn British.
Not
Oh,
giving them
that's
any
hilarious.
tax on tea.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is
That is
awesome.
one of the most fun facts I've
Everyone
ever
used
heard
to
in a
ask
long
that. They'd be like,
time.
"Why is there no tax?" I'm like, I'm not 100% sure, but
No,
I
that's
should just
gotta
say
be
the
why.
Boston Tea Party.
Even
was
if
like,
it's
"Oh,
not the reason why, and
That's what
people
I'm
are
saying.
laughing
That should
at
be
us,
the default.
that's the default answer. Why?
I'm pretty sure that's why. I'm gonna
Did you
go
ever
with it.
hear of the Boston Tea Party?
You un-American?
That's such an American thing to say.
Yes. Oh my God. That is
funny.
fantastic. Now, one last question with the tea. Does the caffeine come in it or what?
That is a new one. Yes.
What are you laughing at?
What do you mean? Like, does the caffeine come
Like
in?
caffeine sold separately.
I don't understand the
Oh,
caffeine.
They
Yo,
pour it in.
You
It's like
jerks.
this yellow.
So,
I don't
alright,
get
so
caffeine. What is
There's
Even I'm
so
not an idiot.
caffeine,
Oh, you are
No,
an idiot.
caffeine is just like a stimulant compound that is found naturally in certain things.
All right, so it's
So
just
coffee.
naturally in there.
So
All right,
coffee.
you jerks.
No, so
Jesus
it's fine.
Christ.
There
You know what,
are
Tom?
dumb questions, but that's
We
okay.
don't have to call it a dumb question. I'm sure there's plenty of listeners out there that are wondering the
All
same
right, so-
thing.
Tea.
So
Caffeine
when
sold. Caffeine not
yeah,
included.
so
Not what I meant.
so coffee, tea, and chocolate, cocoa
Yes, cacao.
has caffeine
Cacao.
in it. Most people don't know that. They're like, "Oh, I can't have caffeine." They're like, you're eating a chocolate bar. And
Yeah,
you're like,
you-
what?
I
I
don't
didn't
know why the
Like, yeah.
wording of that question. I can't.
Now, are there like now things like Monster? Yes, they put the caffeine in that.
Yes, okay,
Great.
all right. But that's like
They've
yeah,
extracted the
Jolt.
caffeine.
they
yeah.
fucking
But that's
shoot it
not
with fucking
oh,
caffeine.
Yo,
remember
I
Jolt?
used to,
Remember Jolt?
What
Dude,
year is it?
I
Oh
used to
wow,
have-
he
there was
doesn't
a
even
short-
know. Do you remember Jolt?
Yes. Okay.
You
I
were
heard
probably
about it.
real young with Jolt. Because we
Probably.
got you by.
My mom
whatever.
didn't even want me to drink
Dude,
that.
I didn't even drink. I love soda, and I couldn't even drink
I'll
Jolt.
do you one better. Back
It
in the
was like
day when I was in
triple
high
the
school,
caffeine in a thing of Coke.
Monster came out. All right, so you know how like Monster energy drink comes out. I was early high school, whatever. Sizes keep getting bigger, right? For I want to say maybe 1 month, they sold this can, and it was 4. You're only allowed to have 4 Monsters in a day before they're like you're gonna kill yourself.
Is that
it was
true?
4 Monsters. Yeah, it says like I looked at. So it was 4 Monsters in one can, and you can look it up. It was called the BFC for big fucking can. And the
That
thing
sounds
was
very
like it was
familiar.
like
Oh, was that the one that had like the knob on top?
no, bigger than that
Bigger
one. Bigger than the one with the knob.
God.
And it was on the shelves for maybe
Companies
about a
are just
month.
trying to kill people.
It was ripped from the.
Yeah.
It was gone after like because I remember when I was in a band, we were a reggae rock band, and we got BFCs one day, and that day we were a punk band. Because, like- because we were like,
Everything is double
we
time.
walked home. So we would walk home from school. We would go to 7-Eleven, then walk to my friend's house from there, and we just like we're drinking this thing. We get to the garage. We're like, all right, let's go. Just like- and then like maybe it happened like I got it like a couple more times, and then I never saw it again. But if you Google it, you'll see it.
All right.
BFC Monster Can BFC was like the
that
stupidest
fake
thing ever
caffeine
created.
freaks me out, man. I don't like
yeah,
to get
that
jittery.
shit is no good.
I don't know.
even
I
drink
spent
it.
my I had a few Red Bulls in my
I
day,
actually
some
don't. I
Monster.
can't
Yeah,
even
man,
drink
I
Red
used to
Bull,
like
Monster,
Monster
any of
a
that
lot.
shit, man. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm
It's,
oh.
In high school,
I
I
used to.
loved
Red
but-
Bull and
Monster,
vodka
man.
is like a fucking. It's like doing heroin. You don't know if you're gonna
Dude,
survive.
a Red Bull vodka.
Remember
is like
Four
doing
Loko?
heroin,
Four
though.
Loko.
Four
was
Loko.
fucking
Aren't they
or
banned or they
OG
back?
Four.
The first thing I
They-
ever got drunk on. Was
They
Four
redid
Loko.
the formula.
The age gap. I know. It's the
They-
first
they
thing you ever got
re-
drunk on was a Four Loko.
So when it first came out, it had a shit ton of caffeine, a shit ton of alcohol, a lot of sugar, and I've heard through the grapevine that they found traces of methamphetamine in it.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
And I'm actually like not joking. I did hear that. And then when they pulled it off the shelves, they redid the formula and they took out everything except the high alcohol.
Right.
Oh, all right.
But if you're ever drinking a Four Loko, the meth sounds pretty probable.
yeah.
'Cause, like,
I've never actually had a Four Loko.
They're not good.
I was like, I think that's.
Are they not good? Because a lot of people love them.
No,
Is it
they
just
taste,
to get fucked
to
up.
me, they taste like medicine.
It's just about getting fucked up.
But it's about
pretty
getting
much.
fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh, so okay. I didn't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I never. That was.
I
that
mean,
was
I
your
haven't had one
generation.
since I was 15.
15. You were
The
drinking.
first
Four
thing
Lokos.
I got drunk off of is the.
was like-
it was we.
How old were
we
25.
Oh yeah. So yeah,
We
we were around the
stole
same
a
age when we were
bottle
drinking.
of,
We were around the same. It was the same
um,
time period.
Right. I didn't get that.
What the
Because
fuck
I was
was
in
it?
I was in college, so you were still in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's a shitty fucking? It wasn't vodka. It was a whiskey.
What? There's something that you got
It
drunk.
was the
off?
first thing I ever got drunk off of. Was like
I don't know. I'm still thinking. I'm still looking at
can't
this
even-
bottle
I
of
don't
hand
even remember
sanitizer,
what it
thinking
was.
it's Georgia.
Drink that hand
Dude, right?
sanitizer.
So B has this hand sanitizer that comes in like a tequila bottle.
I was gonna say it does.
It
look
looks
like
like
a tequila
the small bottles
looks
that they
like-
keep behind. It looks like something you'd see a homeless guy have.
It looks like a fifth of vodka. Yeah, exactly. It
This
should-
is like the homeless
looks
guy
like a
bottle of
fifth of
vodka.
vodka.
the fact that there isn't
Yo,
a brown
look,
plastic
first of all-
paper bag over that thing, it just doesn't look right.
Have you seen this yet?
Yeah.
So how like it's so loose, it literally looks like liquor. And if you smell
Most
it,
of the, I feel like they're watering down the sanitizer. I'm not even
oh, that's
joking.
good. That's great.
Yeah.
Watering
Perfect.
down
Well, it
sanitizer.
can't be too clean.
Because a
Water
lot
down the
of
sanitizer, cut
No,
holes
the
in
only
the
reason
masks.
why is because I've noticed that you used to get sanitizer and it was like a gel.
I have
It's
that
just
one.
because they're making it in bulk now, and it's like liquor companies making the sanitizer.
That's
Yeah.
basically
No,
just.
but I mean, look at the how it's like.
No. I'm saying so. Like if you get Purell, it's still Purell, but this is
Yeah,
just
like
like
mine.
This is
mine's
from a
thick
liquor
like that.
This
company.
is from a liquor company. So liquor
Oh.
companies started making.
That's
it
probably
too.
just the
looks like
leftover.
alcohol.
That's
Yeah,
like the
that's
leftover
all it is.
hooch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's
all
just
it
like
is.
the
You're right.
moonshine that's
That's
left over.
Okay, I was
Probably.
gonna say because that looked way too watery for fucking hand sanitizer.
It's probably.
But a
I
lot
don't
of
know.
these, like the whatever hand.
You don't think
sanitizer-
it's just getting watered down and sent in bulk?
No, I think what like
There
Chris
was
said,
such a
it's,
shortage that
they were just getting whatever they
That's
could.
why I think they watered it down.
Well, no, but like distilleries, like whoever makes.
Yeah,
whiskey
yeah, yeah.
It's-
Was
it's
like,
a lot of
okay,
alcohol
we're gonna
companies
make.
that make
hand
I think,
sanitizer.
I think a
And they do a
bunch
shit
of.
job
I think
because it
Buffalo
sucks.
Trace was doing that too.
Buffalo
Buffalo
Trace.
Trace was like making hand
Yeah,
sanitizer.
all the alcohol companies were making it, and they
Yeah.
have this same. We talked about this before we started recording. By the way, we got to wrap up soon.
yeah. Well,
Are you
I'm
guys
just
bored?
gonna do the two. I want to
Oh,
do
yeah,
two
definitely.
picks.
But
okay.
they
I
have
promise they won't be long.
these.
Well, let me finish. Once you're done with that, let me just finish explaining my show,
Definitely.
and then we'll move on.
this
to that.
alcohol. This alcohol has a terrible
That's
smell.
what I said.
All right, so sipping tea with Tommy D.
Spill the tea
Spill the tea.
because of the talking shit part. I don't
Oh,
know. I
yeah,
tried to
that's
make
right.
it clever. Yeah. So
I like that better.
Tom DeCillis Comedy is the YouTube, and then Spill the Tea with Tommy D is the show. I do a new tea. I tend to drop it every Monday, unless something goes wrong, and then
Like a global pandemic.
Yeah, who knows? So yeah,
Yeah.
I'll brew the. I'll talk about the tea. I'll explain what I'm gonna brew. I'll smell it, describe it. I'll brew the tea, talk some shit while it brews the tea, or talk about whatever's going on in the world, and then I taste the tea, wrap it up, and it's usually
Do you
try
have
to-
an Instagram too, or is it all on
So
the YouTube?
if you're doing any other social media, it's Tom DeCillis Comedy on basically everything.
Okay.
I promote the show on my Instagram. I
Follow
don't post
Tom.
the video because I'm trying to drive people to the YouTube.
Of course.
Yes.
And I love getting questions. So if people do watch the video and either post a comment or direct message me, I will direct you.
I could almost guarantee that our fan
I had
base
my-
won't
I had my
give you any
ex reach
questions
out.
because
I
they
had my
don't ask
ex
us any
reach out.
Yeah, they
questions.
don't even ask.
asking about chamomile tea. And
Oh,
I was
that's
like, yeah.
nice.
Our
That's
fan
no way
base
in,
doesn't
bro.
like to reach out.
Actually, I got an apology from being cheated on by my ex, and it was amazing. It was
I
crazy.
didn't know you knew so much about tea. I apologize
That's how
for
deep. it's
blowing
crazy.
that other guy.
That's how. That's when you know he's made it with tea, bro. When your ex is like, "Oh my god, I want to
didn't
fucking."
realize.
I'm so
I-
sorry.
So crazy. That was the weirdest thing that happened in the pandemic.
God damn it, he knows so much about
Message,
loose
hey,
leaf tea.
do you know anything about chamomile tea? Yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm really sorry for cheating on you all those years ago. No, I'm serious. And I was like, whoa.
Oh my God. She probably drinks Tetley or Lipton,
No,
typical
hopefully not
broad.
anymore. I gave her advice. She better
Well,
not.
all right, well, that's- you are, yeah, definitely follow Tom DeCillis. You're a
Once
great
stand-up
comic.
comedy comes back,
You're one of
too.
my favorite people out
Oh,
there.
thanks, man.
You also run a great show at the Bolton Center.
When eventually that comes back, yeah, we were supposed to do the theater show. It was 200 tickets sold, and it got canceled right before the
yeah,
pandemic.
I know a couple of people
The
that were on
tickets
that.
are
They were bummed.
still. We didn't return the tickets. Everything's just being postponed because just it's going to be a great show eventually.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah,
Tom
that's
runs
pretty-
a great show at the Bolton Center in
Yeah.
Bayshore. It's It's a theater. It's one of the best times I had doing stand-up.
It's
it
a
was
lot
so
of fun.
much fun.
Very
man.
fortunate to
It was
have
really
that.
a great show. You do a great job with that.
Keeping my fingers crossed that that we open up soon for that because the people that work
Yes.
there are haven't been able to work in a while. So
Yeah,
hopefully-
man, and they're great staff over
Wear
there.
your fucking masks, people.
I was
Wear
going to say,
your
don't
mask.
get your hopes up because 90% of the country doesn't take it serious. So they're
I
all
don't care about
closing back
90% of
up.
the country. I want Long Island to get
Yeah,
its shit
it's
together.
true.
So I can
Thank
do
God
my
we
show.
live in. You know what's funny? In the beginning of this pandemic, we were talking about how awful it is, and thank God we live in New York because this is the only state that took it
fucking
serious.
men.
Yeah, well,
They're
we-
closed up, and we're not the idiots out that are making the whole country look bad. So
Yes.
fuck you, 49 other states.
Yeah.
Yes, so angry. And
Yeah,
now,
fuck you, 49 States.
now, Chick, I want to get to your
tell 'em.
picks. Now, Tom, this is your little gift for coming
I'm so
on.
pumped.
We
this
appreciate
was honestly
it.
so much fucking fun.
well,
Well,
glad
thanks
you
for coming.
enjoyed it.
We'd love to have you
We
And
back.
actually
man.
had a lot of fun
Yeah,
with
come
you, and you
back.
definitely earned a spot back.
Oh,
We would love
Hell
to have
yeah.
you back. This
Maybe
is-
we could do
anytime.
Dungeons and Dragons on here, but we'll see about
Yeah.
that.
Well,
But
hey,
this week,
I know some people. We could talk
Yeah,
about
let's-
that
let's
for another
talk
thing.
about
But
that.
I want to hear what you've been dying.
so usually I do some picks, and then I tried to
Chick's
stop
picks.
it, but I've been watching some good stuff again, and I am totally back on to Chick's picks.
Okay.
This week I have two. One of them is not a new movie. It was a short film from 2019 that a buddy of mine, Brian, recommended I listen to. It was called Skin, and it's on Amazon Prime. And in the climate in today's world, I think it was an excellent movie to watch. Again, it's a 21-minute short film.
Yeah.
And it's basically about a guy whose son is has a nice encounter with a black gentleman, like a white guy and his white son with a black gentleman. The white guy's a big racist, doesn't take to it too kindly. Something happens, and
He's like a white nationalist.
yeah, he's like a white.
I mean, he's got like swastikas tattooed all over.
Yeah, he's exactly. He's a fucking like a KKK alt
But
right.
the way they set it up is
Yeah,
brilliant.
but the way they
Chick
set it up
actually
is
texted
brilliant.
Us yesterday, was it yesterday?
Yesterday or the day
The
before,
day
it was
before.
pretty rough because
And
I
said-
just saw it and I was blown away.
Yeah.
I think the ending was super powerful. I thought the whole thing was.
So
And
who was the person involved in this? It was a sport. It was a. One more time.
So
it's a short film.
It's a short film,
film.
and it's basically the characters are a white father who's a
Oh,
big
so it's
racist.
not real?
No, it's a short film.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
all right.
yeah.
In the
White
beginning,
guy-
I was like, "Who was this?"
Yeah, it's just a white
They
guy,
tell
black
a
guy, and a
really
white
good
kid.
story.
It's just a good short film.
Yeah.
Brilliant
Nice.
story in 20 minutes.
With
Oh, wow.
barely any dialogue, and it's as powerful as anything you'll watch.
That sounds awesome. I could do
Great.
20 minutes too.
That's why I actually don't feel bad recommending this too, because it's extremely
You
short.
can watch it. It's free
It's,
on
Amazon
and it's
Prime.
on Amazon Prime for free. Anybody who has Amazon Video.
And if you don't have it, it was like $2, I think.
Yeah, it's probably not expensive. I can't imagine it. The other thing is a relatively new docu-series on Showtime called Outcry.
Yes, and I am loving this.
B
And I'm only
just
2
started it.
episodes
I'm
in.
finished, so I don't want to give too much away to blow it for Brendan over here.
I
But
never heard you call me
I
Brendan.
know I
So
felt
that
like
didn't
doing
feel
it.
right.
Isn't that weird when he calls me Brendan?
I think it's weird when people call me Tom.
Oh, Brendan.
It actually brings me to another. But you know what? Well, for another day.
Yeah. It's a cliffhanger, guys.
Yeah. Outcry is about a Texas high school football star who gets arrested and convicted of a child aggravated child molestation.
Yeah.
He basically
It's a true story.
it's a
So
it's
this
a true
is a true story.
This
Okay, I
is
was
a true
confusing
story.
The other two. All right.
And he gets convicted of it, but the whole story is not as black and white as they
Right.
make you think.
Right.
And it's extremely interesting, and it's fucked up, but it's very well done.
It's so well done. I feel like Showtime kind of
Showtime is when you see a docuseries or even like a Showtime original, they are usually very good.
they're doing good, but I feel like if this was on HBO or something or Netflix, it would be like
4 hours long.
It'd be
Well,
it
it would
would
be
be,
huge, too.
but I feel like it would be like a real big thing today.
Oh,
like
that's what you're
everybody
going
would
for.
know
I'm sorry.
about.
Yeah, they don't.
Showtime gets
Showtime
the
just-
shaft, man.
They get the
Yeah, I
shaft.
was
They
gonna
are
say,
the
it sounds like the
B
kind of
team.
thing that would blow up
Dude,
right now.
Showtime gets everything after HBO is done with it, honestly. And that's if you
Oh,
look
so
at the
was
movies.
this on HBO
It wasn't
first?
on HBO. Maybe HBO. I guarantee
this is a
HBO
Showtime.
passed.
No, this is a
but
Showtime
I
original.
guarantee whoever
Yeah.
made this documentary went to HBO first.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
It was something
They
where
probably
like,
went to
HBO
Netflix second.
And HBO was like, no.
No, yeah.
But I
that's so
really
crazy.
feel I stumbled upon this Outcry.
So did I.
And I was like, what is it? I thought it was like
I thought it was a movie.
me too. And I was like, I like football. Let me give it a shot. And then that first episode, I was like, oh my
The
god.
main character, I think, is a very relatable person. I think for someone like us to watch. You know what I
because
mean?
he's super athletic.
No,
and successful.
not even that. Just he comes
he might
off
have
as like a
touched
normal. I don't know. He doesn't seem like what he got charged for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's. But all right, here's my
You know,
thing.
like sometimes you look at somebody and you're like, "Wow, this guy." I'm not saying I believe it. I don't want to blow anything.
Don't blow anything.
But he looks believable.
He does look believable. But here's my thing with this. This is why I think it's great, because I watched this and first I'm like, he definitely didn't do it. Then I'm like, maybe he did it. And then I'm like, oh no, he did it.
Exactly. I was on the fence the whole way.
I'm still on the fence with
The
it.
last episode and a half, I think I stayed around the same thing though. I think I ended having
right.
a pretty.
I don't want to know what
No,
you're.
no,
I
but
don't
I'm
want
just
you to-
saying, like I went one way with it.
All right, so definitely watch that. I agree with that.
But it's one of those where you think about it one way, and like part of you is like, "Am I really that?" Like, I could be wrong.
yeah, well,
Like it's.
the thing about psychopaths.
Yeah,
they're really
they
good
co-
at
They come in all shapes and sizes.
So, but no, I agree. I'm glad that you brought that one up because I enjoyed the
Well,
first
I think
couple.
that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stay to, if I watch something that I think is extremely good, instead of like everything that I watched that I liked or whatever and bringing it up, I'm going to try and really keep it to things that actually
thank
somewhat
God.
affect me, good or bad. So I don't know if they're going to be things I liked or things I hated.
Good. All right.
Like
We
right
want-
now, I'm on a huge astrology tip. I was showing him the Skyview app, and I've been like all into the planets and all the orbit stuff that we sent into all the missions that we put in orbit and things like that throughout all the planets. And
Between that and the psychic
Aliens.
medium, I feel like you're one step away from reading your horoscope every week.
maybe I am, bro. I'm becoming a different man.
Maybe.
All right, before we get
Yeah,
started,
100%.
Brendan,
But
what's
no,
your
I just
sign
think
again?
this stuff is
Yeah.
crazy. Like watching another planet, when you see pictures of it, to me, it's like astonishing.
I actually
brings
had
me
a
to
friend
one
who was
quick question.
really
You're
good at
astonished.
that
You heard
stuff.
about telescopes?
But it's different,
I
bro.
wish I could see it, man.
You think you were in a ship passing Saturn? It's gonna be the same as a telescope?
All
I
right.
actually know I have a friend who he moved up to Albany, but like his big hobby is photographing planets and stars, and he has these crazy telescopes
If you have a
and
crazy,
cameras.
you can see the rings around Saturn if you have a good
yeah,
enough
like he's
telescope.
got.
Oh, really?
If you go to like his Instagram or whatever, like he takes these phenomenal
Yeah,
photos
to
of
me,
space.
it's more of a visual thing where I think it's just like extraordinary to look at. I think these things
Oh,
are
it's-
magnificent.
It is very
Yeah.
cool.
It's
No, it
not
is.
like I'm reading horoscopes.
No, I
and
know.
things
I was just
like
fucking
that.
with you.
No, I
It's
know.
like-
No, I know. I'm not. Listen, I
hilarious.
hear you, but
Well, have you ever like been to like Middle America and like look up?
Well, that's
and
what I'm
see-
saying.
it's like-
Everything.
Yeah.
New York
Yeah.
is so polluted, you can't
Yeah.
see any stars.
Yeah.
It's dark out right now. It's still bright.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in Hawaii, the skies were beautiful.
Yep.
The skies
Oh, I
were
bet.
beautiful.
This guy's was beautiful. When it was in the Big Island.
But no, so I've been watching all these, and I'm not going to recommend anything I watch because it's just they were things that I was interested in.
What do you mean you're not gonna recommend?
Like as Chicks Picks, normally that was the whole point of bringing that
So
up.
now it's like
Chicks Picks is going through
only
a
when he
whole
means
thing
it.
here.
It's going through a transition.
Okay,
Nice.
good, whatever. I still stand by it that you should only pick stuff that pisses you off because you are at your
Can
best
I
when
tell
you're
you,
upset.
I'm trying to release some of my anger and not be the angry person.
I respect that. Not I want to make you angry.
It's progress.
But
Not that I won't. If
but
something
you're
I
funny
don't
when you're
like,
angry.
I know. If there's something I don't like, I will bring it up as like
Okay.
that's what I'm going
we
to say.
know.
Yeah,
No,
we know.
exactly. I'm still me, bro. I'm unapologetically me. But I'm trying to release my anger issues. I feel like it's preventing me from
Again,
succeeding
every
in
20
life.
episodes, he's trying to release his anger issues. We are on that curve, and I love it.
Yeah,
And
man.
we're about
Very
to start
happy
hitting
for
the
you.
pavement.
Yeah, we are. He's hitting the pavement. He's hitting the pavement, baby.
I finally am, bro. I finally am.
All right.
I love
Nice.
you, Chris.
Well,
guys,
I-
if you
I-
made it this far, thanks for listening. Does anybody have anything else to promote?
Nah, man.
Nope.
Thanks for having me as your first live guest. This
Dude,
was
that was
so
a lot
much
of fun.
Tom, you will
been
be
great.
definitely coming back.
Yeah,
Oh, fuck
I
yeah.
want to
great.
get
And
more
I'll bring
into,
more tea.
Yeah,
and this I
definitely.
want to talk about Dungeons and Dragons again.
Yeah, I want to get
Yo,
into more of that.
You want to bring? I know a lot. I know people that could do it. Make it work if you guys wanted
Cool.
to do
All
it.
right.
So
Hey, we're not opposed to anything.
Definitely
okay?
not.
Freaking
Uh,
whatever. I got
Tom
nothing else
DeCillis,
going on.
comedy. You are you're a gem, my friend. Thanks
Oh,
for
thank
coming
you.
on.
Thanks for
Thank you,
coming on. It
guys.
was a pleasure. Guys, thanks for listening. We love you.
Bye, guys.